Welcome to the NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. The road to Omaha starts today, and we welcome you to Knoxville, Tennessee. One of the most exciting regionals begins with 3-seed Cincinnati, led by exciting young coach Jordan Bischel and a unique offense. Against 2-seed Wake Forest, one of the most talented 2-seeds in the entire country. 16 regionals around the country, double elimination format until 16 teams advance to Supers next weekend. Here in Knoxville, the number 14 national seed is Tennessee. They get 4-seed Miami tonight at 6 o'clock. With that, we say hello. Thanks for joining us. Alongside Kyle Peterson, I'm Mike Monaco, and the best time of the year in college baseball is here. And there's storylines all over the place here in Knoxville. You got the reigning national champs, Wake super talented, Cincy's unique brand of offense, and Miami made some history just getting here.
Yeah, it's cool for the Red Hawks. Haven't been in the tournament in 20 years. Now you get a chance to play Tennessee in their ballpark, but at least you got a chance. And today, two very different offenses. A Cincinnati team that's top 20 in the country in stolen bases. A Wake team that hits the ball out of the ballpark in a ballpark that's built for that style, too. For Wake, if you watched them really since Tom Walter has been there, but I would say, especially on this run in the last 5 to 10 years, they are offensive. And they will continue to be offensive. It's a ballpark that plays similar to what they see at home. And they're led by a guy that is second-team ACC, and we're trying to figure out exactly how these stats make you second-team ACC, but it's exactly what it's been this year for Cade Lewis. The transfer has come in and been incredibly consistent and outstanding for this Wake Forest offense that doesn't need to hit the 3-run home run to beat you, but sure has the ability to do so.
Yeah, Cade Lewis, second-team All-ACC, like you said. On the other side, Carrington Cross, Big 12 Player of the Year, and in a regional with this Cincinnati team for the first time in his 5 seasons with the Bearcats.
Yeah, cool story, too, for Carrington Cross. Could have signed last year as a free agent, gone to play pro ball. Instead, he's a chemical engineering major. Came back, wanted to get that degree. And then all he's done is a Big 12 Player of the Year, lead Cincinnati back to the postseason. They had to sit and watch the selection show last year knowing that probably weren't going to hear their name called, and they weren't. This year, very different story. Name gets called towards the end of the show, still had to wait. But ultimately, Carrington Cross has Cincinnati back in the postseason with an on-base percentage well above 500 for the year.
And a Golden Spikes Award semifinalist, the only one from the Big 12. So here we go from Knoxville. First pitch is coming up. Bearcats and Demon Deacons as we start this journey on the road to Omaha. Seventh regional in program history for Cincinnati, and you see the first time since 2019. Only the second since 1974, and that was the last time the Bearcats got an at-large berth. Carrington Cross told us yesterday, one of the best moments of my college career. And what a job done by this guy. Second-year head coach Jordan Bischel at age 43, after 5 successful seasons as the head coach at Central Michigan. The near miss you mentioned last year in year 1 at Cincinnati, and he's got them in. The offense for the Bearcats, we told you, is unique. 8th in the Big 12 in runs per game, and that is huge right off the top. Landon Vitterek's been out the last 2 weeks with an oblique issue, but he is good to go. It was a true game-time decision, but in the lineup and DHing with all his speed and all his tools at the top of the lineup. And he will face Blake Morningstar, first team All-ACC, the big right-hander from Wyalusing, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, for Morningstar, too, it's a pretty good stuff profile. It's fastball low to mid-90s, 2 different breaking balls. He will throw some change-ups, more to left-handers than right-handers. I do think, and we talk about Cincinnati, obviously you got to get on first base first, but it is a team that not necessarily top to bottom, but definitely top and bottom, is going to try to force the issue when they get on base. So on Morningstar, ultimately on Jimmy Keelan, behind home plate to try to control that offense, because that's exactly what Cincinnati wants to do, and it starts with Vitterek.
They talk about wanting to play fast, and that's how they are constructed offensively. So away we go. Best time of the year in this beautiful sport, and we get you going from Knoxville. Lindsey Nelson Stadium, the Knoxville Regional, is off and running with strike one at 95 miles an hour on a heater from Morningstar. Oh, big to have Viderick in this lineup. Super talented. We mentioned all the tools that he's got, and you mentioned the style of play for Cincinnati. This guy can do it right at the top with 37 stolen bases.
Well, I've been thrown out once. 37 of 38. Chris Burke would say that means you're not running enough if you don't get thrown out more. But 38 stolen base attempts, he's not afraid.
He takes strike three called. 96 from Blake Morningstar and a backwards K to get us started.
It's that low three-quarters arm action from Morningstar, and fastball up to 96 right there. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to start from Morningstar. First out of the game's a strikeout.
He was second in the ACC in ERA, only behind the ACC pitcher of the year and one of the best pitchers in the country, the ace at North Carolina, Jake Knapp. All right, we got star on star here. This is the fifth-year senior we showed you, Carrington Cross, out of Brownsburg, Indiana. Big 12 Player of the Year, team leader in OPS. The fine folks of D1 baseball say Carrington Cross is the best third baseman in the country. And what a journey. A guy who was redshirted as a freshman and through 3 years had scuffled in his opportunities.
And hung around and waited, and obviously made a huge jump this year. He's going to be a big time, a great senior sign for somebody this year.
23 years old, a 4-year starter, very productive career, and you see where he ranks in the Big 12. A .525 on base percentage. Lace to third, right at Lewis, who recovers. 2 down. 102 off the bat of Carrington Cross.
Yeah, working himself into what he thought was a fastball count. Actually got back-to-back changeups. Got a 2-0 changeup to get it to 2-1. Not another changeup. Kind of hangs up in the zone. Luckily right at Lewis. If that's down the line, it's extra bases. Instead, it's 2 quick outs to start for Morningstar.
Wake Forest talks about cross-counting guys. Blake Morningstar will do that quite a bit. Jack Natilli is the catcher in the 3 spot for Cincinnati. Sophomore Pennsylvania native, was second team Big 12, and he's second on the team with that OPS better than 1,000. Transfer from Rutgers. 2-0. And we were talking with Morningstar yesterday, and he was telling us about his 5-pitch mix. He said, I throw them all about 20% of the time. Good changeup on a 2-0.
Back-to-back times he's gone 2-0 count against right-handers and has jumped back into the count with that changeup.
Morningstar had struggles last year as a true freshman. Tom Walter had told us last year that this guy was going to be a superstar before his time was done in Winston-Salem. But Morningstar added a couple of pitches that have helped against lefties this season. And he's gone from Sunday starter to Friday starter for the Deeks. Full count.
Easy 94 right there at 3-1 on the outside black. That stuff wasn't the issue last year for Morningstar. It's just what you see with a lot of freshmen. Going to get comfortable to Division I baseball and ultimately had to throw more strikes. He has done that this year.
3-2 until he stays alive. And Morningstar told us with all the pitches he has now and with all the pitching equipment at Wake Forest, he said they've helped turn me into an animal. That's a good way to be.
The biggest thing is he's got confidence in all of them and confidence to throw them in any count.
And on the hands at 97, and Jack Natilli works a walk, and he's the first base runner here in the top of the first.
Now batting the first baseman, number 25, Quentin Coates.
So man aboard for the cleanup man for Cincinnati. True freshman first baseman, Kansas native Quentin Coates. Big 12 all freshman team. And has started now 19 games in a row at first base. Head coach Jordan Bischel said to us yesterday, I should have been playing Quentin Coates earlier.
That's the nature of the season, especially with freshmen, is a lot of times you're going to give the older guys that have been around a chance at the beginning. That as the season goes on, freshmen get their chance, and coach is taking advantage of it.
It's a Cincinnati team that was picked 10th of 14 in the Big 12 by the coaches in the preseason. 6 wins this year over top 25 opponents, most in school history, and got an at-large bid, and it wasn't really all that dicey going into Selection Monday. 0-2 off the edge. It's one of the new pitches for Blake Morningstar, a cutter.
Yeah, and the guys that have the best cutter a lot of times, it's not necessarily swing and miss, it's a barrel misser, and that one just started off the outside part of the plate, and it was a good take.
Long holding the 1-2. We welcome those of you now watching on Squeeze Play. Happy to have you with us in Knoxville. Kyle Peterson, Mike Monaco with you. And this is one of the most appetizing regionals you'll find across the country. Just underway, top of the first. 3-seed Cincinnati, 2-seed Wake Forest, who's throwing its ace in Blake Morningstar. Full count again from Morningstar to Quentin Coates, the true freshman in the cleanup spot.
0-2 now to 3-2. Cutter 0-2 was the closest since that 0-2 count. Last two kind of non-competitive, and see what he comes back with now. That's been 5 or 6 right-on-right changeups already for Morningstar.
3-2. Goes back to a fastball there, and that's one of the big questions this weekend for Wake Forest is, can they limit free passes? You had the 2-out walk to Jack Natilli to get aboard. 3-2 count here. Wake's been super talented offensively, and there are really impressive arms, but can they limit free passes this weekend? And now Coates gets aboard. So back-to-back 2-out walks after Morningstar just needed 7 pitches to get the first 2 outs here in the top of the first.
And really controlled the zone with the first 2 also. Went 2-0 to start to cross, but came back with back-to-back changeups. Second for a lineout. This is the part, if you're going to put guys on base, it's the part of the Cincinnati lineup that doesn't run a lot that's on right now, but there's plenty of others that do.
So those notes on the walks for Tom Walter's team this year. Defense at times has certainly been an issue as well. So there are 2 on for the sophomore Indiana transfer, Cal Sefcik. Morningstar struggling to locate glove side again.
And the misses are in the same spot. The cutter has missed glove side. The fastball's been tugged a little bit glove side. Velocity's there. He's been 94, 95 consistently, but it's just been missing off the plate away to right-handers.
This will be the 24th pitch here in the top of the first. Just misses at 95. Misses, and it's 3-0 as Blake Morningstar searching with the 2-0 breaking ball.
Just trying to find it one. I mean, it looked, obviously the start to Vitterick was great. It was bang, 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 strikeout to start. Since then, has had a hard time finding the zone. 2-0 slider right there to try to get back in the count. You would think that Sefcik has taken all day right here.
And he is. There's 25 walks in 73 innings for Morningstar this season. Again, that has been the issue for this Wake Forest pitching staff. They led the ACC in strikeouts, but free passes problematic. And that misses. Great take from Cal Sefcik. And Cincinnati, with 3 straight 2-out walks, has loaded them up for Derek Pitts. Blake Morningstar all season had only walked 3 batters in the first inning, and he just walked 3 in a row here in the first today.
With 2 outs, too. I mean, it's an efficient first 2 hitters. Corey Muscara, Wake Forest pitch coach, out to try to talk to his right-hander.
One of the best pitching coaches in the country. 2 years ago, the D1 Baseball Assistant Coach of the Year. Always expressive, always animated, and a couple pounds on the chest there for Blake Morningstar.
They're usually not short conversations with Corey, which is a good thing. He can dive into a variety of things. That time,
Now batting the center fielder.
he's just trying to get his right-hander back in the zone. If they're going to get you, make him hit it around the ballpark. Now back-to-back 2-out walks to load him up with 2 outs.
So here's the true freshman from St. Louis, Derek Pitts. Aggressive hitter who the last few weeks has taken over the center field job for the Bearcats. And to start, it's a breaking ball for strike one.
I think he's probably going to see all breaking balls right here for Pitts. And one thing that jumps out is just 2 walks this season. So you know that there is some chase in there, and Morningstar gets ahead 0-1 with the slider.
Another one, and it's 0-2. With Natilli, Coates, and Sefcik aboard for Derek Pitts. 30th pitch of the first. Tip foul. This is the most first inning pitches for Blake Morningstar this season. Another 0-2. On the ground, left side, and a left field base hit, Derek Pitts. Natilli scores, Coates right behind him, and Cincinnati strikes first, 2-0.
It's pretty good at bat by the freshman right there. Back-to-back sliders to get 0-2, fouled a fastball up. This time got a changeup that was kind of working back in towards the barrel. Pitch just hit it in the spot that nobody was. Bases loaded, 2 out, everybody going on the swing. Tilly scores, Coates scores, and Cincinnati strikes first.
In their first regional since 2019, year 2 under their head coach Jordan Bischel, and what a start with 2 outs here in the first for an always excited Cincinnati dugout. Now Loudon Brooks, second baseman in the 7 spot. Senior who is from Cincinnati, and you know this means a lot to him. Started his career at Texas Tech, now his 3rd year with the Bearcats. And his father Mark pitched at Cincinnati as well. So they know the history of this program. Nothing in 2 from Morningstar. Trying to limit the damage in the first with the Bearcats up 2-0. Strike 3 called. Morningstar K's Brooks, but Cincinnati strikes with 2 outs. They've got the lead in this regional opener in Knoxville. Wake Forest has been excellent in recent years, 3rd straight season with at least 30 wins. Of course, 2 years ago, Tom Walter led the Deacs to Omaha. They won their final 3 ACC series, and we already told you about their pitching staff with great stuff and plenty of strikeouts. But the walks, as they just showed in the top of the first, have proved troublesome. The offense, though, we told you off the top, very good. 2nd best in the ACC in runs per game with 100 home runs, and Matt Scannell's at the top, and then a top 15 prospect in Merrick Houston.
Yeah, it's an offense that can do a lot of things. Austin Hawk in the 8 slot has been on a heater right there, so you got a guy at the bottom that can get on base, cause some problems. But it's Houston, Lewis, Winay that you circle, and Dalton Wentz, the freshman, they're so excited about.
They all face Nate Taylor, 6'5" sophomore right-hander from Amelia, Ohio. Honorable mention, Big 12, has been excellent. You see the ERA at 3.67 in his 14 starts.
Yeah, made a good jump this year too for Taylor, and has really turned into the ace and the reliable guy to start the weekend. It's a fastball that's low 90s. It's a different breaking ball. And one that when he got to school, he didn't really have what he was comfortable with. It's kind of the old school, legit knuckle breaking ball to where he doesn't really turn it over, just lets it go with that knuckle and a changeup back behind it that He won't throw quite as much, but more to lefties.
He starts out with strike one at 94 to Matt Scannell. Princeton transfer, originally from Stone Oak, Texas. 3 really good years in the lineup for Princeton. And this year even better with his OPS. You saw right around 960. He's done a good job holding down the leadoff spot for Wake Forest here down the stretch. And he gets the changeup there from Taylor. Yeah, we had fun talking pitch mix with Nate Taylor yesterday, and some uniqueness to his arsenal.
There is. It's a little bit different. A lot of guys will spike the curveball now, but the arm action and the wrist action will be more like a traditional curveball where you're getting over the top of it. His isn't. He almost releases it like a fastball. It's the knuckle that creates the spin at release.
Line drive, Scannell into left center field, a base hit. Got a 2-strike changeup, and Scannell's aboard for Wake Forest, looking for an answer here in the home half of the first. All right, so man aboard, and here comes one of the star shortstops in a country stocked with him this year. It's been the year of the shortstop in many ways across college baseball, and Merrick Houston about as famous as anyone. 3rd-team All-ACC, and we showed you 5th on Kylie McDaniel's draft rankings. Best year of Houston's career offensively. He's made steady strides.
Yeah, it was a guy, I mean, in his freshman year when they made the run to Omaha, that was really defense first. And that's why he was playing. You can see the offense every year has taken jumps up, double-digit home runs this year for the shortstop.
I was talking with him earlier this year. He put on 12 pounds of muscle. No big changes to the diet. Wasn't on like a 5,000 calorie force feeding mission. But he's stocked up, and he looks the part. He looks bigger than when we saw him a couple years ago. We tried to do that with our caloric intake last night here in Knoxville.
Made a run at it. We did.
Some elk.
Why not?
Some bison.
When you think Knoxville for dinner, you think elk first and foremost, so we obliged ourselves.
Tell you what, you certainly don't think sushi. Although the sushi here is great.
Yeah, a very select few do.
3-1. And Houston takes up high. And a 5-pitch walk. And Wake Forest immediately has the first 2 on here in the bottom of the first with Cade Lewis coming up.
Now batting the 3rd baseman, number 6, Cade Lewis.
Well, what a story Cade Lewis has been. Sophomore from Minnesota, transferred in from Butler. And that OPS you see, top 5 in the ACC. 2nd best on base percentage we showed you. Practically an even 500. So northern kid from Minnesota. He was telling us yesterday, this has been really cool. He was just telling his brother, kind of surreal to make it to this point. On the ground towards second, Loudon Brooks gets the lead runner, and the turn in time for 2. Charlie Niehouse's throw beats Cade Lewis, and we'll see if Wake wants a look at this in a potential challenge.
Cade Lewis immediately looked to the dugout to Tom Walter to say we should probably take a look at it. It's a pretty good turn, man. I mean, Brooks to get it started on a ball that wasn't hit all that hard, just 82 miles an hour off the bat right there.
Wake Forest is challenging the call of first base.
It was a little bit closer than I thought.
This will be a good look at it.
I think they're going to keep it the way that it is.
I think so too. I don't know if there's anything conclusive here as it comes into Quentin Coates' glove. Safe from that angle?
Yeah, by a spike, it looked like he was safe. You can still see the ball. I mean, it's a frame difference right there. But obviously, a big play right here. I mean, 1st and 3rd, 1 out for Wake, as opposed to 3rd and 2 outs, can totally change an inning.
And a reminder for the uninitiated, coaches get 2 challenges per game, and if you're successful, you keep them. And then late in games, crew chief review is allowed at their discretion. One more look at it here.
I think this is the best look at it, to see if that left foot is on the base and you can still see the baseball. It seems like just for a frame right there.
Our umpires today: Casey Moser's got the plate, Augustus Griffin, Wilson Rayner, and Bill McGuire.
Former big leaguer Billy McGuire.
He's got the rocking chair at third today. So Charlie Niehaus is waiting on it. So is Tom Walter. We think safe. We're on the record.
Tom is hoping safe. I think he didn't look too stressed about it though right there. Oh, you want to go on the record for these? That's not as much fun. It's fun just to say both safe and out at 1 point during the discussion, then you know you're right.
Well, let's see.
After review, the runner is safe. Wake Forest contains 2 challenges.
So Cade Lewis stays out of a double play, and Tom Walter's Zen was accurate. And by the way, we appreciate the umpires being mic'd up. It is a huge help and improvement to this game having that.
Yeah, I like the direct approach too to announcing what happened. He's safe or he's out. That's it. Really simple. In this case, Cincinnati still a ground ball away from getting out of this thing. Wake's a ball in the gap away from tying it up.
And they've got their cleanup hitter, the junior first baseman from Newton, Massachusetts, Jack Winay. Team leading 14 home runs, team leading 59 RBIs. Ball one after a lengthy wait for Nate Taylor. Jack Winay got 19 at-bats as a freshman. Then last year had a total breakout with an OPS better than 1,000 and 20 home runs. Similar numbers this year. Slider called a strike, 1-1. Winay, another guy who just continued to get better over his 3 years in Winston-Salem in the mind of Tom Walter. Swing and a miss, good heater, 1-2.
Nathan Taylor using that heater right at the top of the zone right there.
It's a fastball, he was telling us he's trying to get it to ride. It sometimes cuts naturally for him. 1-2. Slider and a good stop by Jack Natilli.
I was talking to Wake Forest coaching staff before the game about that slider, and what they were saying was it'll show you a few different things. Sometimes has more down, and that's exactly what that was. Other times they'll have a little bit more horizontal movement away from the right-hander.
2-2. Fastball on the ground to third. Cross had to back up. The turn from Brooks. The pick. Got him! Quentin Coates, the freshman. What hands at first, and the inning's over.
About the freshman show so far for Cincinnati. Cross starts what is not an easy double play. Gives a little bit of ground, throws a strike to Brooks, and then the freshman bails him out over at first. Quick start for Cincinnati. One of the books. They lead at 1-0.
How about some headlines as we kick off the NCAA tournament? 2 weeks from today, we will get started in Omaha. 75th year of the Men's College World Series there. South Carolina, the last team to go back-to-back. We'll see what the Vols do for an encore. 13 teams a record out of the SEC, led by Tim Corbin's Vandy Boys. And stars to watch: Vahiba Aloy, Mason Neville of Oregon, and Alex Lodi's the ACC Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year.
2 more shortstops on that graphic right now. Talk about the year of the shortstop in college baseball, and it has been that.
He got so many good ones, including Gavin Keelan coming up later for Tennessee, a game you can watch at 6 o'clock Eastern on ESPNU. Here's Cincinnati's shortstop. This is the redshirt freshman from Westchester, Ohio, Charlie Niehaus. Didn't play at all last year, redshirted as a true freshman, known for his glove for the Bearcats. What do you want to see from Morningstar this inning after a lengthy first?
Strikes, and I think the ability to control that fastball too. The fastball's very consistently against right-handers. The misses have been in the same spot, away and down. And the fastball plays. I mean, it's, you know, he was 94 to 96 in the first inning, dipped down a little bit so far here, but can't pitch away from contact with that fastball and try to pitch ahead. He hasn't done a whole lot of that yet.
Line drive, center field, base hit. 2-strike single against the breaking ball from Charlie Niehaus. Leadoff man's on from the bottom of the lineup for Cincinnati.
That's a pretty good piece by the freshman right there too, because it wasn't a bad breaking ball. It's down in the zone, split the plate, but down in the zone, not easy to handle. 2-strike approaches do still occur, which is wonderful. Shorten up, use the middle of the field. Cincinnati has a leadoff man on here in the second.
Some of the youngsters continue to deliver. You mentioned Derek Pitts with that 2-run single in the first. Quentin Coates the pick. And the redshirt freshman Charlie Niehaus is on in front of Donovan Ford, who squares right away. And now the wheels start turning. You mentioned the middle of the lineup wasn't necessarily the spot where you see Cincinnati's offense come to life. And this is.
Yeah, it's a Cincy club that has 25 sack bunts this year, but in talking to their coaching staff yesterday, rarely is it just a full sacrifice bunt. They're trying to get the defense moving a little bit.
Good hands by Winay.
And force that, just force activity to make that defense feel like they got to play at a pace that's a little bit different.
Yeah, we asked Jordan Bischel, hey, explain it in your own words. He said the thing we talk about the most is we want to play fast. A slash here, and it's roped by Cade Lewis. So it's things like that. And now the lineup turns over with 2 on, nobody out.
It could be misleading when you look at their stats, because you see 25 sack bunts and think that they're sack bunts. They're not. The whole intent right there was just to pull Lewis in. So you show bunt early. Lewis takes 4 or 5 steps in from third base, and then for Donovan Ford, it just gives him more real estate. If Lewis is playing back, that might be a double play, because he's in a spot he could glove it instead, and not as much reaction time. Now the bottom of this order goes back-to-back singles to start the second and turn this lineup over.
With nobody out for Landon Vitterick, the DH and the junior from Hamilton, Ohio.
That's a balk.
It is on Blake Morningstar. Now it's second and third for the Bearcats. This is the pressure they put on opposing teams, and then the dugout juice only adds to it.
Again, this is that pace. It makes you play at a speed that you're really not used to. Watch the movement up the middle, too. Merrick Houston's shortstop's going to break to second. And then instantly you can see the move to first, and Winay wasn't ready for it. It feels like the play that was called was a pick to second base. Based on the way that Houston was moving, Winay wasn't ready at first. When Morningstar spun, he saw nobody was there, and unless you disengage right there and step off, if you don't throw to first, it's a balk.
And so now Corey Muscara comes out just trying to slow this thing down on his sophomore Blake Morningstar. And there's not a lot of pitching staffs in the country that have faced this, and you're doing it in short order too, trying to get ready for it.
Yeah, I talked to Tom Olter about it a little bit before the game, and Louisville is a team in the ACC that plays somewhat similar to this, to where they're really active on a base pass, and it's not just the stolen base. It's everything else that it forces you to do. Again, fake bunt, bring the third baseman in, shoot it by him right there. It's taking advantage of what your strengths are, and Cincinnati has done it so far early in this.
We've heard coaches around college baseball say that they have faced Cincinnati, and Cincinnati did not come out for BP on the field. They would do BP in the cages, but they would bunt on the field. So it just firmly gets in the conscience of your opponents. There's a strike with the fastball to begin to Landon Vitterick. More traffic against Morningstar. Those are the numbers for Vitterick, back healthy today. It was right before a series a couple of weeks ago against Kansas State, where he was just taking a swing in practice, and Vitterick suffered the oblique issue. They thought it would hopefully be something that was wrapped up in 24 hours. Now he squares and bunts one foul. This is what they can do.
Yep.
Bunt hit leaders in college baseball.
But even in that situation, which is a safety somewhat by design, but Vitterick still tried to bunt for a hit.
Jordan Bishop was saying to us yesterday, if they see like a 60 to 70% chance of success with a bunt, they're going to go for it. And they pour over all the video and all the synergy and just do the hard work in scouting their opponents themselves for it. 45th pitch already from Blake Morningstar. And Vitterick pops this one up down the left field line. Cade Lewis goes out, and that one's off the netting.
Took Central Michigan to the postseason 3 out of 5 years. That's not easy to do at any mid-major, because most years it means you got to win the conference tournament. You're not going to be able to build a resume up that you can get an at-large. Now, second season at Cincinnati, Jordan Bischel's got him back in the postseason. He was one of those names that, because of what he did at Central Michigan, was coming up for a lot of jobs, and it's a great hire by Cincinnati.
It took him there in 19, 21, and 22. And Jordan's son Luke, who's here in Knoxville, was giving him a hard time. He's like, Dad, when are we going back to another regional?
Oh, this is what I do in late May.
Vitterick takes high on the 8th pitch of the plate appearance, and that is the 4th walk issued by Blake Morningstar, and Cincinnati's got him loaded again, but this time with nobody out.
Yeah, and it's, I think, a little bit of a shock to the system right now for Wake Forest, because there's nobody down there. Yeah, there is no one in the bullpen. Forget anybody throwing. There is no one in the bullpen at this point. It's entirely Morningstar's game.
Trust your offense, trust your ace, and playing in this ballpark as well. But now Carrington Cross, Big 12 Player of the Year, was trying to send one to Nashville. He lined out sharply to third his first time, and it came off his bat at 102 miles an hour. Cross in the air toward right. Matt Scannell backs up. Niehaus tags at third. Scannell's throw to the plate is cut. Throw to second is in time to get Landon Vitterick, who wants a challenge from Jordan Bischel. For now, it's 2 down here in the top of the second with a run in to make it 3-0.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not this gets overturned. There's zero reason why this throw should not go to second base to start. That's deep enough that Niehaus is going to score every time. Throw just a little bit high. Did that left hand get in? It's a little bit of a disappearance too with the left hand
to play at second.
On the slide. He started, kind of pulled it back at the last minute, tried to catch the bag.
And so Cincinnati will use its first challenge, checking on the speedy Landon Vitterick, moving to second. Yeah, Scannell's throw came to the plate and was never going to get Charlie Niehaus.
No, it's just too deep. And he played it great to where momentum was coming in, but it's just too deep to have any chance to throw the guy out at home. Keep your double play in order. I mean, it may have ended up working out for the absolute best for Wake if this out call is upheld.
I think he's in there.
I think he's in there too. With that left hand, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, he kind of pulled it back right away and then reached out for the bag at the last minute.
So we're off and running. I mean, we got at least one on the top of the second. We got 2 reviews already.
We got mound visits. We got reviews. We got postseason.
65 pitches into this thing combined.
Speaking of the postseason, East Carolina jumped out 9-0 on Florida today. 11 hits in the first 4 innings. Scored 9 runs, left 8 guys on base in those first 4 innings. Now Florida's got one back on a solo home run, but the Pirates that needed to win the American tournament to even get in this year are off to a hot start at Coastal.
That's one of the real appetizing regionals around the country as well. All right, let's see what the verdict is and if indeed it'll be overturned for Vitterick at second.
After review, the runner is safe. Cincinnati will retain 2 challenges.
Whether intentional or not, Landon Vitterick does move up first to second, and now they're at second and third and just 1 out.
little risky right there, especially when you see where the throw was going. But Vitterick, 37 of 38 stolen bases. That doesn't count as a stolen base right there, but that is a big 90 feet for Cincinnati. Keep yourself out of the double play.
And now the three-hitter, Jack Natili. Another glove side miss with the fastball from Blake Morningstar to begin, to the catcher who walked and scored in the first.
Yeah, I would be interested to see the chart today for Morningstar where the misses are, because with the fastball, it's pretty consistently in that spot, off the plate away to the right hand.
Cut and a miss, 1-1. Foul 1-2 on Jack Natili. It's 8 right-handed bats in the lineup for Cincinnati against Morningstar, who has been vicious against right-handed hitters this year, but causing problems today against him. 2-2. He kept righties to an OPS of 486 this season coming in. He's only given up 1 home run right on right. A lineup full of right-handed bats for Cincinnati. 2-2.
Yeah, you would think if you're Wake, when you see the lineup on the other side, you're thinking, hey, this is playing into our hands. But for Morningstar, it was just the inability to throw strikes in the first, and then back-to-back singles to start this one. Got that Cincinnati offense going again.
Natili skies this one in the air center field at Javar Williams, who drifts back with it. Plenty deep for Donovan Ford. Vitterick moves up as well to third. Couple of sac flies for Cincinnati cashing in, and the lead's 4 for the Bearcats. Man, it's just impressive to watch this offense work. Not expanding the zone much, and then getting them in.
And taking advantage. I mean, in the first you take advantage of some walks. In this inning, you're just taking advantage of ultimately what Morningstar has given you. When that fastball is in the zone, generally it's elevated. Made it a little bit easier for those 2 balls to get elevated in the outfield and score 2 more.
And now man at third, 2 outs for the cleanup man, Quentin Coates. It was real interesting talking with Carrington Cross yesterday about their approach. Like, he felt like that was one of the big things that changed too, with Jordan Bischel and their staff coming in, just on what pitches they are looking to hit at the plate. You can tell it's paid off with the approaches these guys have had here these first couple of innings.
And you got to have a team that buys into it. I mean, ultimately, there can be an intended approach from a coaching staff, but if your team doesn't buy into it, it doesn't make much of a difference. They have.
As a team, they have the lowest chase rate of everyone in the Big 12. It has paid off early dividends these first 2 seasons under their staff. Vitterick dancing off at third. Blake Morningstar's 1-2. In the air and a rocket to right. Quentin Coates goes Oppo off the scoreboard. 6-0 Cincinnati.
This home run celebration, by the way. I hope Berkey saw that one. 95 coming in, 108 off the bat right there. And impressive by the freshman just to run one out of here. That's the part of this ballpark, even though the wind's pushing it to the bigger side, that it will play small. It probably goes out about anywhere that you're playing, but Coates knew it off the bat. 2 spot in the first, now 4 in the second for Cincinnati.
And then an automatic ball was just assessed to Blake Morningstar after the big fly from the true freshman. 108 off his face in right field.
Yes.
And yeah, can we page Chris Burke on the celly?
Did you see it?
Awesome.
It was outstanding. Yeah.
6th home run of the season for Quentin Coates. One more time. in case you missed it.
Berkey always gets mad. I don't want to see the helmet tap. I don't want to see the boring stuff. And thank you. The entire bench doing the exact same right back there to the freshman.
Oh, it's good. All right, so Blake Morningstar is giving up the 6 here.
There's still nobody in that bullpen. Nobody. I mean, it's like Wake is just ride or die right now with Morningstar as far as he can take him. 62 pitches, he's not out of the second yet.
That's a 5-pitch walk. So it's the 5th walk issued by Morningstar. You do have a good offense. Like Tom Walter pondering it clearly in the dugout, and now is going to signal to get some action out there. But the damage right now is done, even though you have a great offense.
Yeah, I mean, you can score them in bunches here. It's an offense that potentially can't do it, but ultimately, Cincinnati early in this game getting out to a pretty comfortable lead.
It's the left-hander Joe Arriola headed out for Wake Forest. Derek Pitts in the air right field. Scannell's back. It is gone! The Bearcats are bashing in Knoxville. How loud is this from Cincinnati?
Two freshmen putting on a power display right here. We saw Pitts already in this game with an RBI single. I was going to follow suit. Saw Coates hit it out to just about the same spot in right center. 2 of them off the scoreboard in the inning for Cincinnati, both by freshmen. As a 6-run second for Cincinnati.
Derek Pitts with his 4th, the guy who grabbed the hold of the starting center fielder job because of Donovan Ford getting injured with a stress fracture in his leg. And look, you look out at the Wake bullpen and still nobody throwing. Loudon Brooks, the batter now, with 2 outs in the second still. Eight runs for Cincinnati.
I'm a little bit confused by this because honestly, I mean, watching Morningstar in the first, it wasn't clean. I mean, it was 3 straight walks and then a 2-out single. Even when guys started going to the bullpen, they were taking plenty of time. Morningstar comes back and gets another strikeout right there, his 3rd of the game. But damage is done, and it's been done by the freshman so far. A couple of big flies the opposite way. Quentin Coates got it started. Derek Pitts followed up. Maybe they don't just steal bases. They can run it out of the ballpark too. 2 in the inning, 8 runs total for Cincinnati.
One of the 2 best early offense displays from Cincinnati this season. 2nd time they've scored 8 in the first 2 innings. They did it 2+ months ago as well against Louisville, one of their ranked wins this season. What a start for Jordan Bischel's Bearcats here in Knoxville. They were telling us yesterday, we don't have gaudy home run totals, but when we're in good hitting environments, we can outslug some teams too.
Well, the other thing too, I mean, it doesn't fly for the first 2 months of the season. They're playing at home at the beginning, and then when you start playing at home, if it's late March, early April, ball's not exactly jumping out of the ballpark, and that's what you'll see from a lot of northern teams. I know Cincinnati is incredibly northern, but definitely more north than here. As the season goes on, those home run numbers start to jump up, and clearly they like playing at this ballpark so far.
There's 70 home runs coming in, the fewest of the 4 teams in this regional. Dalton Wentz slugs one to right, and that is gone for Wake Forest. The Deeks are on the board with Dalton Wentz, the freshman, in the 2nd. Let it fly here at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. The 11th for the true freshman from Virginia.
Yeah, he's one this coaching staff's pretty excited about right here. Wentz right in the middle of this lineup, 103 off the bat. Got looked to be a breaking ball that was coming back in towards that barrel, too.
Number 11, Luke
A
Costello.
little top spin home run out to right that at least gets this Wake offense a little bit of momentum right now. They're on the board.
Luke Costello now. Well, that's probably part of the calculus for Wake Forest, like we said in the last half inning, is that they know they have the offense that can, like you said, score them in bunches, despite going down by 8 here in the first 2 innings. And you know you're going to need all your pitching to step up at some point over the course of a regional weekend. They've got Matt Dallas and Chris Livonis as the 2 options as starting pitchers tomorrow, Tom Walter was saying to us. You got Logan Lunsford as well as an option for Wake Forest. So you're going to need those guys at some point this weekend. And they're apparently betting on Blake Morningstar finding it to some extent, the offense picking him up. 3-1 on Costello, another talented freshman for Wake Forest out of Erie, Pennsylvania. Three and 2 from Nate Taylor. Taylor had a 16-pitch first inning, got the double play ball induced against Jack Winney. And a walk. Costello's on, and it's a home run and a walk to begin the second for Wake. Hey, the NCAA Regionals continue with coverage at all 16 sites tomorrow here on ESPN Plus and also on the ESPN app. For more info, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships.
What did we add? We're 89 last year for the championships.
Was it? Equestrian? I'm not sure.
It
could be equestrian.
Unfair question right there on my part. I apologize. Should have given you a heads up.
To me, I don't care. This is payback for this morning. Javar Williams, the batter, a ball and a strike. Note to self: if you say you're leaving at 10:50, that is not 11 a.m.
So from here on out, we don't even need to discuss this. I will get the car. We're good. I got it.
The 1-1 is down 2-1 on Javar Williams. We did make it here, though. Those of you watching might not be thrilled about that, but we are here.
We did, in fact, show up.
2-1 on Williams, a sophomore from Dartmouth, Massachusetts. Raced into right field. Stung by Williams. Costello goes first to third, and the Deeks have him at the corners with nobody out, looking to begin their answer.
Well, we'll see if that's the way this entire regional goes, but right now very offensive with 2 teams that have the ability to do it. Wake, the leadoff home run by the freshman Wentz. Costello with a walk, and then Javar Williams shoots one down the right field line. Costello goes first to third, and the Deeks are in business.
And now here comes the homer-happy second baseman, Austin Hawk. Tommy Hawk's younger brother. And Austin Hawk, in the last 9 games, has popped 7 home runs after he had 6 homers in the prior 83 games.
His OPS. OPS just shy of 1,100 for Hawk this year.
Williams back to the bag. Junior in-state kid who began his career at North Carolina, now his second year with the Deeks. Check out the last 10 games.
Yeah, that plays.
Can we interest you in 1,500? 0-2 on Hawk. We were talking with Cade Lewis about Austin Hawk yesterday. He said, I mean, this is cool. We always joked with Austin Hawk, you got no juice. And now Austin Hawk is putting balls out.
I can't say that anymore.
Good stop by Natilli. Far and away the best Austin Hawk has swung it in his career. Mentioned brother Tommy was on the Omaha team for the Deeks 2 years ago. In the air, right center. Derek Pitts into the gap for the first out. And plenty deep for Luke Costello to score on a sac fly. And the Deacs trim the margin to a half dozen here in the last of the second. So one away for Nate Taylor, and now to the 9th spot in the Wake Forest lineup for the catcher, Jimmy Keenan. Transfer from St. John's. Split time at points this year with Matt Connie, talented freshman behind the plate. But Keenan's been swinging it well down the stretch. Part of the reason why Tom Walter has felt very good about his offense coming into the postseason here, because he's pointed out Hawk and Keenan have stepped up offensively, giving you a ton of length.
That's your 8-9 in the lineup right there.
Another pick checking on Javar Williams. There was a time early in the season when Jimmy Keenan was really struggling offensively. And Tom Walter told us Keenan was going through some pretty big mechanical changes. Something that this staff does not like doing in the middle of the season. Prefer that in the offseason, but Keenan underwent those changes. He's come out on the better side for it. So the 20th pitch on the way in the second for Nate Taylor after a 16-pitch first. Until he's back pick does not get Javar Williams.
It's interesting. Most teams that run a bunch defend the run pretty well, because ultimately they got to do it in the fall. All your pitchers are used to it. Your catcher, I mean, right there we got a back pick by Natili trying to steal an out at first base.
Really good arm for Natili behind the plate. 2-1 from Taylor. Back up slider for a strike, 2-2. Told you this Wake offense has swung the bats well recently. They did have an early exit in the ACC tournament against the 16 seed Cal, but even in that one they put up a dozen. 2-2. Keenan chases. Really good slider from Nate Taylor for his first strikeout, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, that was that slider that had a little bit more down right there from Taylor. The backup to pitch before to steal a strike, then come back with this. And it's, again, it's an interesting release. I mean, that is almost straight down. There's not a lot of horizontal right there. It's almost like a split when it gets to home plate, but tough to lay off. First strikeout gets Keenan swinging right there for the second out here in the second inning.
It's only the second swing and miss from Wake hitters, the first time through the lineup against Nate Taylor. But it gets him a strikeout, and 2 away as the lineup turns over to Matt Scannell. Grad student Princeton transfer, single to center his first time. This guy was an all-star in the Cape Cod League over the summer, and that led to a lot of confidence for the Wake Forest staff that his success at Princeton would transfer into the ACC. Williams takes off. Natili's throw does not get there. Williams with a bag to move into scoring position with 2 outs.
14th of the year right there for Javar Williams. 2 out, thinking maybe you're going to get off speed. It was an elevated fastball, but just a very good jump by Williams on first.
Taylor's 1-1. Scannell takes down, 2 balls and a strike. It's up and away from Taylor. Had 110 pitches combined in these first 2 innings. Getting started in Knoxville. That misses, and Scannell works a walk. And so there's 2 on for Wake Forest. 2 runs in already here in the second. And now their star shortstop Merrick Houston is coming up. get a mound visit here to talk things over with Nate Taylor. Taylor Sheriff, first-year pitching coach in his second year on staff. Got promoted in the offseason from Director of Pitching Development after the pitching coach last year for the Bearcats, Josh Reynolds, left for a job on the Tennessee staff. So he'll be seeing his team from last year this weekend. We got some traffic headed down toward the bullpen for Cincinnati. They know they need length out of Nate Taylor. They know they need a good start. Dealt with a lot of injuries on their pitching staff over the course of this season. And, you know, even if you win the first game, boy, it helps to start out 2-0.
Helps a ton, and it also helps if you don't have to burn through a bunch of your top bullpen guys today.
So 2 on, 2 out, Merrick Houston takes a slider away. And these are really disciplined offenses. We told you Cincinnati has the lowest chase rate in the Big 12. Well, Wake Forest has the lowest chase rate in the ACC. Strike at the bottom of the zone with a heater. 30 pitches into the bottom of the second from Nate Taylor. Houston pulls one down the left field line and foul.
That could have changed things pretty quick. Just in on the hands for Houston enough that he can't quite keep it fair. It's fouled by a good 4 feet or so down the left field line. But that one lands. That's going to score 2 with 2 outs. Instead, Taylor now at a 1-2 count. You would think when he's gotten into plus counts 2 strikes, it's really where he likes to lean on that slider.
Tried it there, and Houston was not tempted enough. Two. Houston lines one into left field, a base hit. Javar Williams will score from second, and Wake Forest makes it 8-3 in the bottom of the second.
With slider the pitch before the miss down and away, it was a good take by Houston. Worked himself back into a fastball count. Got one, 93 elevated.
Now batting number 6.
Kid that should hear his name called in the first round of the Major League Draft this year puts a good swing on it. 2 out RBI right there for Wake, and they've now answered with 3 of their own here in the second inning.
And now Cade Lewis, their star third baseman in the 3 spot. He rolled one to second his first time in the first inning. Tom Walter has called Cade Lewis their most consistent hitter all season. Told us he's handled fastballs, he has handled soft stuff, hits it all over the field, and just a professional hitter in every way. Showed you earlier, transferred in from Butler, where he was the Big East Freshman of the Year a season ago. 2-1. And until he might need repairs to his glove, catcher for Cincinnati. And it's understandable. We've had a lot of pitches here.
Caught a lot of baseballs so far today. Well above 30 pitches in this inning. Just let's get rid of that one.
Coach will try it on first, confirm what his catcher is saying. I love this. Jordan Bishop just like, yeah,
I'll wear it.
I want to feel what it's like. He was a two-way guy himself in college.
Yeah, well, now becomes that all-important guy that can fix gloves that goes on the road with you. Start getting the laces out, all the little tools to
Here we go.
Relace it. We got to go down to the bullpen to get our backup here.
Corey Klingenbeck, senior catcher, he knows how to handle that thing. So he's got the backup glove, huh? The second stringer was with Klingenbeck?
Could have the gamer back here in an inning or so. Somebody's going to work right now in that Cincinnati dugout.
I was at the ACC tournament last week. Boston College has a catcher, Gunnar Johnson, and his dad in-game was stringing, presumably his son's glove.
Was he?
Like you see fans sometimes crocheting at games.
Yeah, or you fix your kid's glove.
Lewis walks, and Wake's got him loaded, and a swing away from pulling within a run. Well, let's get weird in Knoxville. This is already some chaos early on. We've had 5 walks from the Wake Forest starter Blake Morningstar, and now 4 walks from Nate Taylor. And a look into their bullpen with the action up. Michael Conti. So loaded up for the cleanup man, Jack Winney. Slider to start, and Winney offered. Winney bounced into a 5-4-3 double play his first time to end the first inning. Has led this team in home runs and RBIs this year. Just misses, and it's a ball and a strike. Jack Winney has done a huge job picking up this offense when Ethan Conrad got hurt. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. And Natilli grimaces with that.
Caught a little bit of everything right there by Natilli. Foul tip, couldn't catch it cleanly. It looked like it just missed his shinnies on the way down. Big pitch right here. Wake a swing away from getting right back in this thing. Cincinnati a swing away from getting back in, letting their offense go to work.
He lays off the slider.
They've done a pretty good job of that today because it's a different shape than you're used to seeing. It's a slider that does not have much horizontal at all. I mean, it is very top to bottom, straight down.
Loaded up, 2 outs in the second in the 2-2. Winney strikes out. Taylor fans Winney and leaves him loaded. Wake, however, gets 3, trying to wedge their way back into this one. Tom Walter joins us when we come back to Knoxville. Back in Knoxville, Wake Forest gets 3 back in the bottom of the second as we go to the third, and Tom Walter, as promised, joins us here. Tom, what was going through your mind in that second inning, and the decision obviously stick with Morningstar, knowing the offense you have? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, Blake's our guy. He hasn't pitched well early, but I'm looking forward to a shutdown inning here. And he's got to throw strikes, and he's got to get ahead. I mean, we had 2 outs, and 2 strikes on several hitters. They've got 6 RBIs with 2 outs and 4 of them with 2 strikes. So got to put guys away.
Tom, obviously they jump out 8-0, but you got an offense that can score in bunches. What do you say to the guys, if anything, in a spot like that when they look up at the board and see what it is?
I say a 1-pitch out we love. But yeah, I mean, our guys, look, that's a ton of game left. Our guys know we're going to score. We just need a 0 out of Blake right here and get some momentum finally back in our dugout.
Tom, thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it, Tom.
Well, he did get a 1-pitch out after 67 in the first 2 from Morningstar.
Yeah, often if that happens, they won't put the headset down. Well, I'm not leaving yet. If that's going to happen, then we're going to keep going right here. Guy that has done such an awesome job of building that Wake Forest program up. Ben, they were so good 2 years ago and played some of the most legendary games that we've seen in Omaha.
It was Charlie Niehaus who popped the first, now Donovan Ford. Yeah, Tom Walter in his 16th season. This year went over 900 career wins. That team last year, a super team in every sense. Just epics with LSU. Third trip in program history to the Men's College World Series. And that was the first one since 1955, as Deke fans sure know. It was a 54-win team. And that game against LSU right at the end, Tom Walter says, one of the best pitched college baseball games he has ever seen.
It was one of the best that I've seen in person.
I was sitting right behind home plate. It was something to see. Rhett Lauder, total stud for Wake Forest through the years. All right, so he's rolling with Blake Morningstar. He said it. He's our guy. And he strikes out Donovan Ford. Fourth strikeout for Morningstar, and he's got 2 outs on 6 pitches to begin the third.
Okay. Now this is what you need. Obviously you need zeros. Let this offense for Wade get back in it, but you also need some quick innings to keep that pitch count down for Morningstar. And an efficient start to this one. Gets a pop fly on the first pitch of the inning. And a strikeout there of Donovan Ford to get 2 quick outs here in the third.
The 8 earned runs a career high for Morningstar. The 5 walks a career high, but credit him for recalibrating here at the outset of this third inning. Jordan Bishop will slow things down and talk with Landon Vitterick. For Cincinnati, 8 runs the first 2 innings. It's tied for the most in any game this season. And for them in NCAA tournament history, 8 runs through 2 innings. It's already tied for the second most in any game they've played in the NCAA tournament. Did it in quick work the first couple frames. Still lead this by 5. So here is Vitterick. He struck out looking on 96 in the first, and then he walked and scored in the second and gets a changeup to start from Blake Morningstar. Again, Jordan Bishop said to us that Landon Vitterick was a true game-time decision. He said if this were pro ball, it's bad enough that Vitterick probably wouldn't play. Laces this one into right field, base hit. 100 miles an hour off Vitterick's bat, and a 2-out single for Cincinnati, third time through.
On a team that is full of guys that can be active on a base pass, nobody more active than Vitterick. 37-38 this year in stolen bases. Took an extra base already in this ball game. Got one elevated enough right there. Shoot it to right. Keep this inning going with a 2-out single.
And now Carrington Cross, Big 12 Player of the Year. A long hold. So how do you deal with it as a pitcher? You know what Cincinnati does, and you know who in particular is at first base.
You got to vary looks. I mean, it's not just a pickoff. In fact, so often it's not a pickoff that controls a running game. It's varied looks, making sure that runners can't get comfortable with the timing to get a good jump. You also can't forget about the hitter. And every once in a while, that's what the running game will do, is you're trying to be too quick to home plate. Ball gets elevated. Before you know it, the pitch isn't as competitive as it can be.
So all the steals this year for Cincinnati. Back up breaking ball, misses to Cross. So you got dangerous hitter in the box in Carrington Cross. The line out to third and the sac fly to right.
Just looking through. So Wake last year in the draft, 3 of the top 10 guys get drafted are from Wake Forest. Nick Kurtz is already in the big leagues. How about these Chase Burns numbers at AA? 45 strikeouts in 29 innings. He's only walked 3 guys. Seaver King, the 10th overall, picks in high A ball right now. So this is last year's draft. You already have one of the big leagues. You got Chase Burns right now that it looks like is not going to be much longer before he's there based on the way he's been at AA.
We got a Chase Burns jersey sighting here, and you have to specify if you say that.
I was just going to say.
With the teams in this regional.
It is the Wake jersey in this case. Burns spent his first 2 years at Tennessee. Wake last year was the 2nd overall pick in the draft. I must say it again because it 45 strikeouts and 3 walks in AA right now in 29 innings.
Started in high A, and it was very quick getting to AA for Chase Burns. Vitterick goes, and on the pitch out, safe. Boy, he can even swipe second on a pitch out.
And a decent pitch out, too. It's elevated. Catcher's moving into it right there. Keenan hasn't been great at throwing guys out this year. That's just 5 of 46 that Jimmy Keenan has thrown out. Keelan has thrown out. But in this case, that's just a good base stealer. Because if you can steal a bag on a pitch out that's elevated, you can run. Now 38 of 39 on the year in stolen bases.
In scoring position for Carrington Cross. Fouls off the 2-2. Yeah, coming in for Wake Forest, controlling the running game. They had only thrown out 8 of 77. Tennessee gets a lot of the headlines for controlling the running game as a pitching staff, but Wake's had some issues with it as well. So you don't love seeing Cincinnati when the selection show happens. Vitterick dancing. And Morningstar will throw to second.
But in that case, you draw pitcher attention away from a 2-strike count at home plate against the player of the year in the conference with 2 outs. So he may not steal third base, but he's already, in this case, forced 2 pickoffs and changed the pace of the way that Morningstar wants to work.
That's part of what they get with having Landon Vitterick back. We welcome those of you now watching on Squeeze Play. 8-3. This has gone off the rails early. Full count on Carrington Cross. Cincy went up 8-0 in the top of the second, 6-run second. Wake came back with 3 runs bottom of the second. Wake hardly got bullpen activity going at all through the first near hour and a half we've played so far. Tom Walter just told us, if you weren't with us, we're sticking with our guy in Morningstar. His 82nd pitch is lined foul by Carrington Cross. We've had 125 pitches in this game so far, so if you haven't watched every single one, if you're on Squeeze Play, don't worry, we'll catch you up on everything. We've talked about how we got to the ballpark today and what we've eaten so far in Knoxville.
Very important things.
8th pitch on the way to Cross, and he works a walk against Morningstar. The 6th issued by Wake Forest ace, and out 2 on for Cincinnati. Walks have been the issue for Wake Forest pitching this year, but again, in Blake Morningstar, this is a first-team All-ACC arm, guy who was 2nd in the league in ERA, only behind North Carolina's stud Friday arm, Jake Knapp. Now Jack Natilli has walked and had a sac fly from the 3-hole. That's ball 1 with another glove side miss from Morningstar. Natilli, very talented catcher. Waits on the 1-0. Morningstar has had his attention diverted this inning. So we thought East Carolina, Florida was very interesting in the first few innings. So too is this here in Knoxville. I mean, we've had more walks around here than if you had your dog with you, your Belgian Malinois, just taking a stroll.
I'll hear that one every day. Old Belgian Malinois drop in the 3rd.
Got one of those?
I don't.
2 on, 2 out, and the 1-1. Natilli skies this one left center. And Luke Costello puts it away. So, Blake Morningstar posts a 0. We're in the middle of the 3rd in Knoxville. What a ride it was last year for Tennessee. The top seed, of course, in this Knoxville Regional, the national champions. Tony Vitello's team, Christian Moore, one of the best hitters in the world last year, taking down A&M in Omaha. And the bracket here looks like this. A reminder, double elimination format in all 16 regionals. Winner of this one moves to tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Losers got to come back and do it the hard way starting tomorrow at noon here on our ESPN family of networks. Lindsey Nelson Stadium traditionally has been very kind to Tennessee the last number of years. Maybe not as much this year, but still potent with this fan base and this club they've got as well, lurking later against Miami. This is smashed by Dalton Wentz, who's got his 2nd of the ball game. Dalton Wentz goes 4-0-4 to right with his 2nd solo shot off Nate Taylor.
So did we mention that they're excited about the freshman in this lineup? Dalton Wentz has shown you why. The last one kind of snuck out. This wasn't sneaking out anywhere. I don't care where you're playing. 83 coming in. Breaking ball coming back in towards that barrel, and that was touched. 107 off the bat, over 400 feet to right. 2 solo shots for the freshman today. That makes it a 4-run game.
And Dalton Wentz is, as Chris Burke would say, a dude.
So that was a compressed baseball right there.
Wentz, who came in with 10, now has a dozen in just 3 innings of work. Switch hitter, and was brought in to play in the infield for Wake Forest. And now he's been dealing with an arm issue as well. Dalton Wentz has only been DHing for Wake Forest. Strike 3 called. Luke Costello thought it was down, but he is out number 1 against Taylor in the 3rd.
Well, good bounce back right there from Taylor. Cincinnati needs a little bit of length here too. You jump out to an 8-0 lead. Wake starts coming back in. A couple of home runs from Wentz that obviously got him back in it. But pitch count not terrible, just 65 here in the 3rd inning. And for the 400-foot shot to right, Taylor comes back to get his 2nd strikeout of the game.
1 away for Javar Williams. I couldn't tell exactly who was talking to Dalton Wentz down there in the dugout, but I was wondering if that was the training staff in discussion with Wentz back there.
Just keep doing whatever it is that you're doing if you're wearing that Wake uni right now.
Javar Williams in the air to left center. Derek Pitts there for out number 2. All right, so let's make sure it is something of that sort, and hopefully not anything health related.
Now batting number 9, Austin Hawk.
I think I read his lips. He just said, "Did you see how far I just hit that?"
Okay, so we're good.
Yes, so we should be fine.
We got a smile. We're good. Dalton Wentz can DH and he can slug. 2 away for Austin Hawk. Hawk had a sac fly to center his first time. And so Wake with a couple of home runs. And they're back within 4. That's a strike, and Austin Hawk not too pleased with that. Taylor trying to pound the zone after the home run from Wentz. "70 pitches now for Nate Taylor, trying to grind against one of the elite offenses in the country. Swing and a miss. Taylor strikes out Hawk and fans 2 in the 3rd. Yeah, I can swing it. Okay, says Dalton Wentz.
Yeah, I'll be fine. DH role fits me just fine. Hello, freshman home runs number 11 and 12 on the year. Both solo shots, the last and the 3rd, to bring the Deeks back within 4 runs.
Fourth inning, Cincinnati's got an 8-4 lead on Wake Forest as we welcome you back to Knoxville. Pleased to be joined now by the head coach of Cincinnati, Jordan Bischel. Coach, for fans watching out there who haven't seen your offense in action before, maybe not before today, how do you describe it, and then what you have done today with it as well?
We just want to make it hard to defend, whether it's swinging at the right pitches, whether it's pressuring on the bases, pressuring with the bunt game, and obviously we've done a really nice job of taking the stuff they've given us and then putting a little pressure on after that. But I think what people don't realize is we do want to hit the ball out of the park a little bit too, and we've done a good job of that today.
Hey, Jordan, the Vegas line on consumption of Diet Mountain Dews by you this weekend is like 12.5. I don't know if you're going to go above or beyond that, but you're off to a heater so far.
I would have to be under that for there to be a chance to be. I think I'm already over, so that ship has sailed.
All right, well, I'll cash that ticket, so thank you.
Yep.
Talk about Carrington Cross and just the growth and then ultimately the season he's had, which has been so good for you guys.
Yeah, a really good player when we got here, but he's worked his butt off to go from really good to elite over the course of the last 2 years. He doesn't give anything away. You got to earn your outs against him. He's going to play defense. He's going to lead on and off the field. We don't have enough time to tell you how good he is, but he's really good.
What have you seen from Nate Taylor trying to settle back in like he did after that home run in the third?
Yeah, he did a good job. You know what got away from him there the first 2 innings is you got to go after the strike zone again. They're like our hitters. They're not going to give you much. You got to get the ball in the zone if you're going to get outs, and he just didn't the first 2 innings. Give Wake a lot of credit. They had discipline, but suffocated them with strikes that last inning, and they did ride one out of the yard, but we'll live with that over free pass.
Jordan, thank you. Good luck the rest of the way.
I appreciate it, guys. Diet Mountain Dew, drink a Champions.
You told us yesterday I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't dip, but I do drink a lot of Diet Mountain Dew.
Hammer these.
Crush them. He said more than a physician would advise.
He's got to pick a different doctor, that's all.
A fresh one waiting for him. This is fouled away by Cal Sefcik after Quentin Coates struck out against Blake Morningstar here in the fourth.
You know, Jordan was talking about the Wake offense and just how they're going to force you to throw strike one, strike two. They average seeing 4 pitches per at bat. That's 5th in the country. So yes, there's power, but they also force you into the zone.
A strikeout for Morningstar again. Back-to-back Ks. Takes care of Cal Sefcik, and there's 2 gone.
Backup cutter right there. I don't know if it's necessarily what you wanted to throw it, but sometimes you can see the glove action right there too. Keelan coming back in kind of had to take that with him, but got the reaction he wanted. Now back-to-back strikeouts. That's 5 in the game for Morningstar.
Might be 2 backup cutters for strikeouts. Looked like how he got Ford in the 3rd inning as well, and now Sefcik here in the 4th. This is Derek Pitts who offered at it. What a good start to this game for the freshman Derek Pitts. 2-run single in the first, 2-run tank oppo in the second. Freshmen have had a hand in this for Cincinnati. Guy who's grabbed the spot in center over the last few weeks because Donovan Ford is playing in right field today. A little stress fracture in his leg and missed about 3 weeks. So Pitts stepped into center. They've kept both of them in the lineup. On the ground at Merrick Houston. And a 1-2-3 inning. Imagine that. Middle of the 4th in Knoxville. Kylie McDaniel has got his MLB draft board. Liam Doyle's going to throw tonight. He has been a strikeout happy left-handed arm for Tennessee. 6th overall, Merrick Houston, we told you 15th. Gavin Keelan at short 24th, and Ethan Conrad, unfortunately out for the season with shoulder surgery, is 24th. Merrick Houston can do it with the glove, and the bat has grown as well.
Yeah, we got some dudes. Not only in this regional, but it's always cool to see the amount of guys that we're going to get a chance to see in the postseason. That's 12 different guys that are in Kylie's projected first round that we're going to see actively playing in the postseason.
Yeah, what, 3 of them here?
Here, yeah. Interesting, too, for OU. Kyson's twin brother Malachi is actually pitching game 1 today against Nebraska. They're holding Kyson. See a potential they can get through the Huskers and then face North Carolina tomorrow.
Jimmy Keenan, the batter, with the rain coming down here in the bottom of the 4th. We power on a turf surface and take cover. Right when we parked, we got crushed with rain. Today coming over ourselves. Swing and a miss. Keenan strikes out. 5 Ks for Nate Taylor, and there's one away as we settle in the bottom of the 4th.
He's starting to get more swing and miss now, too. Got 2 in the last inning. Now here with Keenan, goes back to that slider, which is really what he's leaned on. At Wake, the first time through the lineup, did a pretty good job of laying off of it. Now this time he's gotten some swing and miss on pitches that out of his hand look like they're going to be strikes. It has that straight down movement at home plate. Keenan couldn't lay off. He's now struck out 3 of the last 4.
He's up to 10 whiffs as well. And then starts out with the slider for a land strike to Matt Scannell. Single and a walk so far. I want to go back to the Witherspoons for a second. Where do you stand on the spectrum of 1 seed against 4 seed throwing your ace Friday or Saturday?
Well, what's interesting with the Witherspoon, it's 2 against 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's OU's the 2, the Huskers are the 3 right there, and and Skip Johnson rolling the dice, whereas North Carolina went with Jake Knapp today against Holy Cross.
Chopper from Scandal to Quentin Coates, 2 down.
I'm honestly totally fine with it. I mean, if it depends on matchup. We've talked about it plenty. Like, not all 4 seeds are created the same, but ultimately, if the biggest thing is you got to have a guy day one throw strikes. I mean, if they hit the ball at ballpark, you get beat, so be it. But just having a guy that you know can fill the zone up day one is a huge relief for a coaching staff.
Now here in Knoxville, we've seen plenty of walks so far in this one. Both offenses just totally grinding on these aces for their respective clubs. Traditionally what you'd expect in a 3-2, like you mentioned, with Oklahoma not being the case for the Sooners, but is for Jordan Bischel and Tom Walter, with Nate Taylor and Blake Morningstar. You're okay with rain here? Not so much with the lightning.
Yeah, we don't need electricity. It could rain a little bit. I mean, like, it doesn't affect us, so that's kind of selfish, but...
Or anyone tuned in, I suppose.
I mean, it cools it down a little bit, makes it ideal vest weather. It's perfect right now.
You can tell where the overhang is in that last shot.
Yes.
2-2 on Merrick Houston. Tough it out. If you got a beard like that, just hang with him. Dotted. Heater at 93 from a grunting Nate Taylor. Bookends a 1-2-3 bottom of the 4th with a couple punchies.
Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings right here. Ethan Taylor, a strikeout to start, a strikeout to finish, now struck out 4 in the last 2 innings, and Cincinnati still holding on to a 4-run lead.
ESPN's the home for NCAA college baseball regionals, and if you haven't heard, for around-the-clock multi-game coverage, scan the QR code below. ESPN Plus subscribers can access expanded coverage with Squeeze Play. Matt Schick, Chris Burke, and Mike Rooney for now. Chris Budden's got the night shift, and take your bags and just make them into a head poncho.
They were prepared, and they've got the orange on already.
Look at this guy. It's pretty good. Fall shop, so it was in the team store, and then just keep the moss looking good.
I just need a bag. I'm not really going to buy anything. Can I just get a plastic bag?
One of your best ones.
And a receipt. Thank you.
Leading off for Cincinnati, number 8, Loudon Brooks.
Does that shirt say GOAT? I mean, that's confidence. I love it. 5th inning begins with 7, 8, and 9, and Loudon Brooks takes a strike from Blake Morningstar. I believe we might have had an automatic ball assess right before the beginning of the inning. We did. So it's 1-1 on Loudon Brooks. All right, so Morningstar, like Taylor, trying to settle into this thing. 4 in a row set down by Morningstar at 100 pitches. There is action in the Wake Forest bullpen. 3-1.
And for Morningstar, he hadn't pitched in 2 weeks. I mean, he pitched the opener against Louisville, did not pitch in the ACC tournament because Wake got bounced by Cal in game 1. So I would think some of the thought process right here for Wake is he does have the ability to go deep, now over 100 pitches.
That is Luke Schmolke, one of the good relievers this year. Has given him more than 40 innings this season, and a guy who can give some length as well for Tom Walter. Full count on Loudon Brooks. Bouncing ball up the middle and into center field, base hit. Austin Hawk let that one go on the shortstop side of the second base bag, and then it went past Merrick Houston into center.
It looked like he could have gloved it too. I think his assumption may have been that he thought Houston was right behind him, but it looked like he had a chance, and the glove wasn't even extended right there. Instead, it's a leadoff single for Loudon Brooks right there to get the 5th started.
If so, if Austin Hawk did have a chance, maybe just thought Merrick Houston was a little bit closer than he was.
I guess, but even at that, I mean, your shortstop's going to be deeper and momentum's taking him away from the throw. It would have been a tough play for him even if Houston can get there.
Well, it's a Wake team that has had defensive struggles. Would have been a tough play no matter what. And the leadoff man's on in any event for Cincinnati. Brooks aboard for Charlie Niehaus. Takes a strike after he had squared. Niehaus singled up the middle in the second, came around to score. That was the lead off that inning when Cincinnati sent all 9 to the plate against Morningstar, and then Niehaus popped the first to lead off the third. Now here in the 5th. Nothing in 2 with the fastball from Morningstar. Season high in pitches for Morningstar is 105. Did that in that last one you mentioned, final weekend of the regular season at Louisville. So this next one, a new season high in pitches for the sophomore ace. And he strikes out Charlie Niehaus, and there's one away in the 5th.
I think it said Cutter again that he's not really getting around exactly the way that he wants to, and hitters almost are swinging like they think it's going to move out of way. Backed up on again right there, but it's led to 2 different swing and misses to finish off strikeouts.
Blake was telling us yesterday how this staff has helped him reshape his arsenal. He's had a lot more success this year against lefties than he did last year as a true freshman. He also said, they kept rolling me out there last year even though I had my struggles. He was very appreciative of that. And he got to work through things and get acclimated. He said I pitched in some high leverage spots. They kept trotting me out there even though I took my lumps and went through rough patches. Really wanted to be in the weekend rotation this year. Tom Walter bumped him from Sunday to Friday, and that's played a huge part in Wake playing better down the stretch in the ACC. Donovan Ford's 1 for 2. And he cracks this one to left field. Donovan Ford goes deep. 4th home run of the season, and it comes out of the 9th spot for Cincinnati. That was a bolt.
Well, Jordan Bischel said it when we talked to him earlier today. When you asked him to describe this offense, and the one thing he said was, you know what, maybe we can run into a few too. They never run into 3 today. And for Donovan Ford, not first and foremost known for the power, that's 106 off the bat, a no-doubter. Even though that's home run number 4 of the year, Mr. Ford knows what it feels like when he gets one. He knew immediately.
Well, Sammy Sosa up the line from Donovan Ford. 5'8", 160 pounds. D2 transfer from Newberry College in South Carolina, where he was a D2 All-American. So good answer from Cincinnati, getting a couple back. 10-4 in the 5th inning thanks to Ford. He's had some electrifying moments for the Bearcats this season. Two and 1 on Landon Vitterick. Just trying to see what happened around third here. Did we? Oh, we hit him with the too small. That is everywhere when a wide receiver makes a play on a DB and in college basketball. It has expanded to baseball as well. Vitterick drops down a bunt. Morningstar barehanded. Vitterick too fast. Another bunt single for Cincinnati.
Well, they do this about as well as anybody in the country. That should tie him for the lead of bunt singles this year, I believe, in the nation. And Vitterick, we talked about speed. He already has a stolen base today. Kind of lulls you to sleep a little bit right here. It's a good job by Morningstar to barehanded. If he doesn't make that play, they have no chance. But speed of Vitterick from the left-hand side, just enough to beat out an infield single. He's now reached base 3 out of 4 times today.
And this might be the end of the road for Morningstar. At 111 pitches, this is the procedure that will lead to a pitching change. We can almost guarantee. Catcher will go out, catcher will stall, catcher will come back. Mound visit will occur, pitching change will follow. And so Blake Morningstar, 4 1/3, 111 pitches. And now his 4th time through the lineup, trying to grind through it against a really difficult Cincinnati offense today. And Luke Schmolke will enter for the Demon Deacons. Casey Moser starts the process. He visits the mound. And Tom Walter coming to get Blake Morningstar. Luke Schmolke coming on for Wake Forest. Cincinnati has been loud offensively today. They put up 10 on the first-team All-ACC Wake Forest ace in the opener in Knoxville. Blake Morningstar facing Bishop Ball today. He departs in the 5th inning, 4 1/3, 7 strikeouts in the end, but 8 runs across the first 2 innings and 10 earned against the first-team All-ACC stud for Wake Forest.
That's a lot of numbers up there for Morningstar, and in this case, maybe that 2 weeks off makes a little bit of a difference. 9 hits given up, walked 6, 15 base runners in the first 5, and Cincinnati's had 10 score. So we'll go to the bullpen. Luke Schmolke, more off speed than fastball. It's a fastball that'll sit right about 90. More curveballs and fastballs to righties, more changeups than fastballs to lefties. The guy that's kind of an off-speed specialist. You see the walk number, though. I mean, it's about 4.5 per 9 this year for Schmolke. A lot of those elevated numbers, and we've already seen it today from Wake staff.
Tom Walter was telling us about his bullpen yesterday. He said it's either been lights out electric or it's been shaky. And very often he said it's not a problem of us getting hit. That's what we talked about earlier, the walks that have harmed the Deeks bullpen. And so Schmolke, though, he told us, has been good all year for the most part. Can he come in and stabilize things against Cincinnati? Already up by 6 on Blake Morningstar and Wake. I mean, this has been loud from the Bearcats offense. First regional since 2019, and they have put up 10 runs, 9 hits, 3 home runs, 6 walks. All 9 batters have reached base, and 4 runs got aboard via walks over those half dozen from Morningstar. Carrington Cross in the 2 spot. Takes 89 for strike 1. They've done this with just a line out to third. A sac fly and a walk from the Big 12 Player of the Year, Carrington Cross. Productive trips. But not any of the home runs that Cincinnati has clubbed. Quentin Coates, Derek Pitts, and Donovan Ford going deep for the Bearcats. Landon Viderick, with his speed still on, had that bunt single before Morningstar departed. Long hold from Schmolke. Hit on the ground, foul. Nice little footwork down the line. 0-2 on Cross. Super valuable player, of course, for Cincinnati in just about every way. Maybe not going to wow you with tools. Can do a little bit of everything. And has been exceptional in his 5th season. All right, we got Viderick aboard, and up in the booth, we have the stopwatch out.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to work it.
Does it have juice?
We got issues so far. We got juice, but this should not be as difficult as I'm making it right now.
It says it's 8:56.
It does, yeah. Hold on, hold please.
It's 2:58, so it's 8:56 in France.
Yes. Which is always important to know.
Viderick a healthy lead, not going. And Cross chases. Luke Schmolke comes in and dispatches Carrington Cross for out number 2.
Looked like the curveball right there for Schmolke. She'll go to and swing and miss counts, especially against the right-handers. Viderick has stayed put over at first base so far, but he usually doesn't do that long. It's a little kind of a funky arm angle, too. That front side clears and gets low. Arm comes right over the top, and it makes that breaking ball more top to bottom.
And now Jack Natilli takes a strike. Viderick takes off, and he's got that bag easily without a throw. That could not have been much easier for Landon Viderick.
Well, the last time he stole it on a pitch out. This time, again, such a good jump that Keenan just put it in his pocket, didn't even try to throw it.
Schmolke's 1-1. Another look at the jump from Viderick. So if and when we do get the stopwatch working, what are we looking to learn?
I don't have high hopes right now. Well, I'm trying to see just what times are to home plate.
From Schmolke.
Correct.
Strike is fast, average, slow?
I'm sorry?
Does it strike you that he's quick?
I wouldn't say
average?
overly slow. I mean, that's usually going to see a lot of base coaches will have stopwatches, hopefully, that work in their pocket. And then ultimately, if you get up in that 1-5 range, 1-4-5 to home plate, so from first movement to when it hits the glove, that becomes go time.
Well, Schmolke issues a 5-pitch walk, and Jack Natilli's on with the 2-out walk, and there's 2 aboard for Cincinnati against Schmolke.
Now batting the first baseman, Quentin Coates.
You try to figure.
Okay. Let me tell you, this thing does a lot beyond just times to home plate.
It's high level. I think it was like $9.
Quentin Coates, the batter, in the cleanup spot. 2-run home run already from the freshman. I got days of the week on this thing. A lot happening. Anyway, here's Coates. It was his 6th home run of the season when he went deep off Morningstar. Only the 2nd right-on-right home run Morningstar had given up. Chopper foul, 1-1. Well, here it was from Quentin Coates going oppo, 108 off his bat.
Yeah, 2 in the inning for the freshman. Coates got it started, both of them the opposite way, too. Took stuff elevated. Coates knew it right away when it came off the left. Got flip and a bow to finish it off right there.
And now waiting on the 1-1 from Schmolke. We'll pivot back and check on Viderick. Six-run Cincinnati lead in the 5th inning. Another check on Viderick. Yeah, we've talked about Bishel ball and what they do offensively. This has gone back through the years, all the way back to Jordan Bishel's college days, playing D3 ball himself at St. Norbert. Swing and a miss. Schmolke fans Coates. And the inning's over. Donovan Ford, out of the 9th spot in Cincinnati's lineup, adds to the Bearcats' lead. Knew it, admired, too small.
Welcome everyone to Omaha, Nebraska, home of the College World Series.
'Cause here I come, I wear it all on my sleeve, so everything you see shows you where I'm from.
Bolts back and makes the catch! Somehow hung on! Back-to-back jacks!
More, can you believe it?
2 weeks from today, we get started in Omaha at the College World Series. Most appearances there without a title. Florida State put up a good run last year under Link Jarrett in year 2. And the Noles are the number 9 national seed this year. Clemson, North Carolina, and Arkansas chasing one as well.
All hosts. So, I mean, the 4 that have been in most of that, winning the whole thing, are all going to play home baseball to start. Can't see that about Tennessee anymore. Vols, the defending national champs. We'll see them later on tonight.
They have been a bunch in recent years, 3 of the last 4 for Tony Vitello's team. North Carolina, trendy pick for a lot of people. The way they finished the season, the way those bats got going second half of the season. North Carolina took home the ACC tournament title. Really impressive job by Scott Forbes again. This is Cade Lewis leading off, 3, 4, and 5 for Wake against Nate Taylor.
Carolina, the first winner of this postseason. 4-0 shutout of Holy Cross. Jake Knapp, 8 1/3, walked 3, struck out 7.
That guy is so good.
13-0 now.
Lewis grounds out to Quentin Coates, 1 away. Total horse who had to watch and be a leader for the freshman arms for North Carolina last year.
Didn't throw a pitch last year. Knapp comes back this year and obviously has been everything you want. ACC Pitcher of the Year, 8 1/3 shutout today. It's interesting, too, when you go around the country, the teams, because the home team, if you're hosting, you choose whether or not you play early or late day one. After that, it's set. It's a little bit split, but Scott Forbes in North Carolina wanted to play the early game, get it in early. Now they can hang out, see if they'll play the Sooners or the Huskers tomorrow. Big 8 matchup tonight.
How about the Huskers getting in?
Oh, yeah, they had to win that tournament.
In front of
15,000 in the final.
That many?
About 14-9 were in red.
GBR. Jack Winney, the batter here in the cleanup spot. He's bounced into a double play and struck out. Texas is up 2-0, 4th inning on Houston Christian. NC State is delayed against Stetson down at Auburn. Louisville and East Tennessee State, they're tied 2-2 in the 4th inning in Nashville. Kentucky, West Virginia just underway at Clemson, where they play Venga Boys. A lot. I don't know if that's NCAA approved. 2-2 on Winney. LSU in a delay at home in Baton Rouge as the number 6 national seed. Yeah, we got some rain we're dealing with. Hattiesburg as well, it sounds like.
And a half to dance around raindrops usually this time of year.
Still so much to come throughout the weekend. Winney skies this one left center field and struck well. Sefcik's back at the wall. It is gone. Jack Winney goes deep for Wake Forest. We've had 6 home runs in this game. Jack Winney with a bow of his own to his Deeks.
We get similar sellies here on both sides. Winney got a slider that didn't slide right there. Stayed in the middle. That is a part of this ballpark, too. It's one of the hardest to hit it out. I mean, it travels, but left center is definitely a little bit different than right center if you get it going. But for Winney, home run number 15 of the year. All 3 home runs today for Wake, solo shots.
Including 2 from this guy, Dalton Wentz. True freshman DH in the 5 spot, who has consecutive multi-home run games now. Went deep twice in the ACC tournament against Cal. That pitch was called a ball. And so Dalton Wentz is the 3rd Wake player the last 5 years with back-to-back multi-home run games. And it is really good company. Nick Kurtz did it last year. Bobby Seymour did it 4 years ago. And now the true freshman Dalton Wentz did it in the 2nd and then in the 3rd.
Well, top spinner in the 2nd. This didn't get out by much. This got out by much. 404 feet to right. The 2nd one a no-doubter for the freshman.
Inside off the edge from Taylor. 2-2. Taylor had set down 7 in a row before the home run from Winney. Pitch count creeping toward 100. Wentz on the ground up the middle. That's the shortstop Charlie Niehaus in the shift for out number 2. We've had more home runs hit here in the first 5 innings of this game than in every other regional combined. We've had 6 home runs so far. Elsewhere in the country, in total, 5 home runs.
We're winning
by a lot.
so far. Yeah. Take that, rest of America. We're winning.
Pitchers not so happy about it. Here's Luke Costello. He walked and scored in the second, struck out looking on a fastball in the third. Costello, an important bat for this team. Freshman who has stepped in. Had really good at-bats for him really most of this season. Told you it's an offense that is missing Ethan Conrad. Preseason All-American, transfer from Marist. We showed you Kylie's draft rankings. Conrad 24th on the draft board. Unfortunately, has been out the last couple months with season-ending shoulder surgery. So things have been juggled around. Costello's held down left field. Skies this one foul. Wake dealing with Cam Nelson being banged up as well. He's been out with a knee injury.
Yeah, they said he potentially could pitch hit today if needed. Not going to play defensively, but later in the game if they need to go to it, Nelson may be available for one.
2-2. Nasty slider from Nate Taylor. One of his best of the day. He's punched out 7, and we are through 5. Cincinnati up 5 on Wake Forest. Welcome back to the NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. Knoxville, Tennessee. Game 1, Cincinnati and Wake Forest. 3-seed Bearcats, 2-seed Demon Deacons. And the Bearcats up by 5 with Bishop Ball arriving in Knoxville in his second year at the helm. Freshmen have stepped up for Cincinnati. Same for Dalton Wentz and the Demon Deacons. 5, 6, and 7 for Cincinnati against Luke Schmolke. Came on to get last couple outs in the 5th. Kyle Peterson, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you. Winner moves on to tomorrow night and gets whoever wins tonight between Tennessee and Miami, Ohio. Cal Sefcik off the end of his bat to Luke Costello. And one away for Schmolke. We told you Luke Schmolke's been an important piece for this team throughout the season. Junior right-hander from Mooresville, North Carolina, transferred in from Georgia Tech last year and has pitched for him this year. Here's Derek Pitts. He's driven in 4 in this game. First pitch strike to start out from Schmolke. The Cincinnati team got an at-large bid after finishing 8th in the Big 12. Told you they were picked 10th in the preseason coaches poll. They were one of the first 4 out last year. You said this off the top. They didn't really think they were going to get in when the selection show unveiled the teams.
Oh, but still, I mean, given the history of Cincinnati lately, just the fact that they had a chance the first year that Jordan Bishop was there was obviously a step in the right direction. Then they take it one further this year to get in comfortably and at least so far look pretty comfortable in the spot.
Jordan Bishop was telling us we were 62nd last year in the RPI. He said, I knew we weren't getting in. They didn't even hold a watch party. 2-2. And he told us this Monday he was 100% sure they were getting in. But then when the field got unveiled, they got through 14 regionals, and, well, they hadn't heard their name yet. This is fisted to right, and Matt Scannell, 2 down. Jordan Bishop said this, so I started wondering, like, did I miss something? His wife Katie started asking, hey, like, what if we don't get in? And then they got in. It's just dramatic from you and from Matt Schick, Mike Rooney.
We also know that it's dramatic sitting in those rooms too, just to see whether or not. The one thing he did too, I mean, they scheduled Duke on the road to start. They go on to Duke, on the road, win 2 out of 3 at Duke this year. So from an RPI standpoint, this is just a reality. I mean, they didn't play their first home game until March 4th. First 3 weekends on the road for Cincinnati.
Loudon Brooks, the batter, against Schmolke. That was so loud what they did against Duke. A team that, yes, Duke went through some early season struggles, but by the end of the year was playing very good baseball. They're one of the best 2 seeds in this tournament as well. Jordan Bishel had a great line about that as well. He said, yeah, you go do that opening weekend. He's like, it's like a football team. If you're leading 21-7 in week 1 going to the 4th quarter, it's not over yet. We still got to put together a good season and make a regional. But a bunch of good wins, starting with that weekend. And look, this team had to do it the hard way too. They went through a ton of injuries over the course of this season. Said to us, still came out in a good spot compared to last year where they were healthy by and large last season. Tested with their resilience this year. Had some tough stretches as well. He mentioned Arizona, BYU early on in the year, West Virginia a little later in the season.
Had some good weekends too. I mean, swept KU at KU, and that one ended up going a ways. Won 2 out of 3 against K-State to finish off the regular season.
Chopper left side from Loudon Brooks. Cade Lewis throws him out. And the inning's over. 1-2-3 for Luke Schmolke. And now Wake Forest bats down by 5.
Well, credit Nathan Taylor. I mean, your team goes out and stakes you to an 8-0 lead. You feel pretty good, but scuffled a little bit in the second. Since then, it's just been 2 solo home runs. And that slider has gotten better and better as this game has gone on. 2 home runs off of the pitch, but plenty of swing and miss, reactions like that. And now Taylor, just above 100 pitches, has pitched into the 6th inning here, and he holds a 5-run lead.
Season high for him is 110 pitches in the conference tournament in Arlington against Texas Tech 9 days ago. 6th time this year going 100 plus as the horse at the front of the rotation for Cincinnati. 7, 8, and 9 for the Deeks, and Javar Williams, talented sophomore center fielder, has a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Williams a pull side single and a run scored in the 2nd, then a fly out to center in the 3rd. Line drive center field, and Derek Pitts is there. 1 away. So 105 pitches for Taylor. And a couple more right-hand hitters here, starting with Austin Hawk. So we said Austin Hawk, older brother Tommy Hawk. The oldest brother, Rusty Hawk. Played at Charlotte. Not Rusty, but there's Tommy.
And Tommy was kind of the fan favorite. Usually the face paint all over the place. Always had the Jordans with the spikes and a bunch of different shoes. Austin plays the game the same way.
Line drive left center field, and Rusty's brother Austin has a base hit. 1-out single out of the 8th spot, and the first hit for Austin Hawk here today. And that was one of the best parts of any stroll through the Wake Forest locker room, was checking out Tommy Hawk's shoe collection. What do we got for cleats in there?
The times they have it changed, Mike Monaco. I had 1 pair of blacked out Mizuno spikes. That was the option that we had. There were no additional options beyond that.
Playing baseball growing up, the Reeboks with like the full-fledged Reebok logo on the spikes, I thought those were the coolest thing. Got a pinch hitter here in the spot of the catcher Jimmy Keenan, who had struck out twice on sliders. Antonio Morales bats. Sophomore from Norfolk, Massachusetts. One time Tom Walter thought he'd kind of end up as their leadoff guy this year. He swung it really well as a freshman last year and started about the final 20 games of the season. This one pops away from Jack Natilli, and Austin Hawk moves into scoring position with just 1 out here in the 6th. All right, so another look into the bullpen. And Michael Conti's still up. Fouled away down the line. And it's 1-2 on Antonio Morales. – 10-5 game, bottom of the 6th inning. 1-2. Morales fouls it off right at home plate. So Wake electing to pinch hit for Jimmy Keenan, get the left-hand bat up here. They've got Matt Conti as a catching option behind Jimmy Keenan. Down, good block by Jack Natilli. It's a big part of his growth defensively behind the plate. Something that he's been working a lot at to get better for Cincinnati. Pitch number 113 from Taylor. Morales spoils that.
It feels like Cincinnati just trying to get Taylor through the sixth and save a few more bullets down there. I would think one more base runner, you'd probably go down to the bullpen. So lineup turns over after this.
Another 2-2 on the way to Morales. He spoils that as well. Taylor holding 92 with the fastball velo.
Season high in pitches. Was what, 93, 94 in the first, and now still holding into the low 90s here, 114 in.
8th pitch of the plate appearance on the way. Fouled off by Morales. Antonio Morales, who just comes in cold here off the bench, making Taylor work. The longest plate appearance in this game. And Morales forces it full.
That take. That's a slider that Morales just followed all the way down into the dirt, worked it to a 3-2 count.
Tenth pitch from Taylor. Morales in the air left field. It sends Sefcik back onto the track. At the wall, he makes the catch. Hawk tags and moves up 90. And Taylor outlasts Antonio Morales. 2 down.
Didn't miss it by much. You know, off the bat, I thought this was going to be routine fly ball to left field, but it took Sefcik about a step away from the wall. Backspin off the bat just kept on traveling. A good read, too, by Hawk at second base. Recognized that was deep enough even to left field to tag up and get 90 feet away from home plate.
And so at 117 pitches, they are trying to get Taylor through this 6th inning. Matt Scannell, the leadoff man, has been aboard twice. First pitch swinging, Coates to the bag, and Taylor is through 6. Emptying the tank for Cincinnati. The Bearcats' ace gets through the 6th against the Deacs. NCAA regional coverage for all 16 sites continues tomorrow here on ESPN Plus and the app. Go to ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Lindsey Nelson Stadium, Cincinnati and Wake Forest. We go to the 7th, and what a job by Nate Taylor, the Bearcats' Friday starter, getting through 6. His team's up by 5. 8, 9, and 1 bats here, starting with Charlie Niehaus against Luke Schmolke. Matt Conti has come in to catch after Jimmy Keenan was pinch hit for by Antonio Morales, talented freshman who has started a bunch this year for the Demon Deacons. (3-0) from Schmolke. If you're just joining us, Cincinnati got 2 in the top of the first and then 6 in the top of the second in their first regional since 2019. called a strike. Top of the zone. Walk of shame for Charlie Niehaus.
Let it go just a little bit too early. You're waiting to hear something, haven't heard it? No. Now he said it.
Sorry, Blue. 3-1. Good take. Discard it, a little less forcefully this time, and a leadoff walk for the Bearcats. Well, brings up the 9-hole hitter, Donovan Ford, who earlier in this game went deep for the first time in almost 2 months.
Leaned on this one to left, too. This one, second deck out in left field, where the girls will be fired up here before long. Not quite yet. Ford goes deep for his 4th time this season, 3 in the game for Cincinnati as a team.
I told you, the D2 transfer, Newberry College. So it's big moments this year. D2 ranks, he had a career average of 396. Stole a bunch of bases, so Jordan Bischel said, this is our kind of player. Well, he delivers a big swing of power as well, part of a 2-hit day. Now he pulls back against Schmolke. Two 2-0 as Ford pulls back again. Jordan Bischel said earlier this season, initially with Donovan Ford, you see his size, and you wonder if he can successfully transition from Division II. You say he doesn't play like he's 5 foot, whatever it is. Said it's not just speed, there's explosion in the bat. No, yeah, he can defend as well. This is earlier this year against Xavier, an insane catch back in the middle of April. It was #1 on SportsCenter Top 10.
Just the most uncomfortable feeling on the mound is when you turn around and you see your outfielder's number, because that means they're running as fast as they can to try to get to it. But in that case, happy that you saw Ford's number because he ran it down.
Well, Ford is in a 2-ball, no-strike count. Tom Walters coming out and going to the bullpen. So, a leadoff walk and then a 2-0 count and a change for the Deeks here in the 7th, down by 5 against Cincinnati. ESPN is the home for the NCAA College Baseball Regionals, and if you want around-the-clock multi-game coverage, scan that QR code you see in the bottom left of your screen, and ESPN Plus subscribers can get Squeeze Play, where you get updates on everything happening around the country. You get to look at Mike Rooney's pairings of ties and socks as well. They are color coordinated.
He was going green today. I got the advance notice.
I got a text on April 29th, and he had it picked out for the entire weekend. April 29th.
Hey, I got a text at 12:46 in the morning, which thankfully I didn't see until I woke up today, from Rooney. He needs his sleep, man. I mean, we're coming out of the box way too quick if we're still up at 1 o'clock the night before. Wake's going to go to the bullpen there. Freshman left-hander Reese Bowie on. 12 1/3 innings this year, 14 strikeouts, but 16 walks, and that's the one thing that jumps out. Very fastball heavy. It's a fastball low 90s that can get up into the mid 90s.
Comes in mid-count against Donovan Ford. Unfazed. 2-0 heater for a strike from Bowie. Opponents have only hit 186 against Bowie. That's a strike, 2-2. So you got to come in mid-count. You got to also worry about everything that Cincinnati does offensively, and a guy who can handle the bat here in the 9th spot in Ford. That's down. It gets away from Kati, but no movement from Charlie Niehaus. So now 3-2 with the lineup set to turn over for Cincinnati. Nobody out in the 7th. Bowie will check on Niehaus.
Yeah, it makes sense to pick right there, too. 3-2 count. You think maybe there's a chance. Niehaus is 19 of 21 this year in stolen bases that he's going. So Just in case he's going first movement, pick right there to keep it close.
Not going, and that's fouled away. 94 that time from Reese Bowie. We've got him up to 96.5 this year. So if you like rounding, 97 for Bowie.
We're rounding that one up.
3-2. Line drive center field, right at Javar Williams, who's there for out number 1. Nice job by Bowie. So now back to the top of the lineup, and Bowie's got to go left on left with Landon Vitterick. Even though Landon Vitterick bats from the left side, he has excellent numbers against southpaws.
An OPS above 1,100 against lefties this year for Vitterick. Playing to the pull side too. It's not a full shift, but.
And the pick gets away from Bowie. Niehaus takes a turn and stops at second, and then the throw gets away again. Austin Hawk's throw got away. Niehaus to the plate. He's safe! All the way from first.
We say about that running game, not necessarily stolen bases that get you. I mean, right now, you speed Bowie up on the mound, does a step-off move, throws it down the right field line, and now the carousel just starts. No reason to speed that throw. Instead, it's in a spot nobody can get to. Niehaus did not break stride around third, so a pickoff at first leads to another run for Cincinnati.
2 errors on the play, Bowie and Hawk with throwing errors. And Charlie Niehaus scores on what should be a harmless pickoff. And that's been one of the big bugaboos for Wake Forest. Had the most errors in the ACC with 71 coming in, and last in the league in fielding percentage. One. Outside 2-1 on Vitterick. This has kind of been the kitchen sink from Cincinnati offensively. Everything we thought they could do coming in, they have done, and then
maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
You get 3 home runs. Chaos on the base pass has obviously made Wake Forest uncomfortable.
Left side of the diamond popped up at Cade Lewis. 2 down. Well, Charlie Niehaus was digging from first, and you just got to go full Superman to the plate. Let's go.
What a difference about 15 seconds can make right there. Looks to be a harmless pickoff over to first. 2 errors on the play. Niehaus comes all the way around to score.
We still need a lot of water in the dugout after that. 2 down, Carrington Cross. Pokes one foul.
And that whole sequence right there is kind of where Wake has struggled this year. So it's a walk to get on, and then you start throwing around the yard, and Niehaus comes around to score. That's 8 walks on the day for Wake Forest. Of those 8, 5 have come around to score.
Cross tags one left center field. Costello goes back and makes the catch. Inning over. But Cincinnati manufactures and capitalizes on some miscues, and they lead by 6 on Wake Forest as we hit the stretch in Knoxville. 11-5 is the Cincinnati lead on Wake Forest coming out of the stretch in Knoxville. Bracket looks like this. Again, double elimination format if you're new to this. Game 2 of day 1 tonight, 6 o'clock Eastern on ESPNU. The number 14 national seed, Tennessee, against a Miami team. 20 years in the making, getting back to a regional under head coach Brian Smiley. Winner of this one moves to tomorrow night. Winner's bracket against whoever wins that one. Loser's got to come back and play tomorrow at noon Eastern. Called to the bullpen here after 118 pitches from Taylor. Summoned the side slot right-hander Michael Conti, the senior and a Cincinnati native.
Yeah, one of their most reliable guys out of the bullpen this year for Conti. Just 2 walks and 19 2/3. Fills up the strike zone, throws a ton of strikes. It's an upper 80s fastball, a slider, and a cutter back behind it. But a trustworthy arm for Cincinnati right now that you think can come in, continue to fill up the zone, and he enters with a 6-run lead.
He gets the heart of the Wake Forest lineup, starting with Merrick Houston, then Cade Lewis, and Jack Winay. Merrick Houston a walk and a run-scoring single in this one. Cincinnati was fighting to get 6 innings out of Nate Taylor. Felt like you needed serious length from him if they want to do what they hope to this weekend in Knoxville. You got some other good arms on this staff. A guy like Conti here. Taylor's your best starter. Kellen O'Connor has started 11 games as well. He's also pitched in relief, and he's been really effective. If you can avoid him today, and if you can win this one, you could line him up to start tomorrow against Tennessee or Miami. Misses the back door. 2-1 on Houston. Cincinnati pitching staff dealt with injuries this year as well. They had a guy in a returning weekend starter, Tommy Boba. Was in the weekend rotation the last 2 years. Had Tommy John. And then one of their best relievers, Brendan Garula. He's missed the whole season. Jordan Bishop told us yesterday maybe their most consistent reliever coming into the year. It's been a little bit different pitching staff-wise for him. Well struck right center field by Houston. Back to the wall and gone! Solo shot Merrick Houston, the 4th for Wake Forest, and they inch closer here in the bottom of the 7th.
We talked earlier about the offensive growth of Merrick Houston since his freshman year. This is 105 off the bat on a 3-1 fastball. Just sitting and waiting, and that natural arm action and movement that Conti has is going to come right back into the barrel. Houston stays on it, drives it out to right center to get Wake back within 5.
And then Cade Lewis with a shift-beating bunt bid. Conti throws him out. What a play off the mound for out number 1.
He's the only guy that has a chance to make this play. And for Lewis, who has big-time power, can do a lot of things. You're down 5 in this spot. I'll take this anytime. The left side is there, just a little bit too close to Conti, who has one chance. Barehanded, spin and throw all in one move, and it just gets Lewis at first for the first out here in the 7th.
To be clear, you mean as the pitcher, you'll take that all the time from Lewis?
I'll take it both ways, honestly, because if you just need base runners if you're Wake, and if I'm on the mound, if Lewis isn't going to swing it, I'll roll the dice that we can make that play. But Conti's the only one that has a chance, just based on defensively the shift that was on. Cross was playing closer over toward shortstop.
And not a bad bunt bid from Lewis, but Conti sprung off the mound and got him. Now Jack Winay. A ball and a strike against Wake's cleanup man, who had one of the home runs for the Deeks in the 5th. Pull side shot, 102 off his bat. Bounced into a double play in the 1st and struck out swinging in the 2nd. This is struck well into right. Ford backs up, heels on the track for out number 2. It is flying here in Knoxville in the 1st game.
But for Wake, 4 home runs, all solo shots. And for that offense that relies so much on the home run, if you look at it from Cincinnati, if you're going to get us, we'll give the solo shots up, and that's what they've done today.
7 home runs in this game, 11 home runs in the rest of the country so far on day 1. Dalton Wentz has 2 of them, and now he cracks one on a line to right. Forward to his deep and has to play it on a hop. 2-out single for Dalton Wentz, and his 3rd hit in his first career NCAA tournament game.
That one just off the end of the bat for Wentz, who had barreled 2 up the last 2 times. Ford is playing so deep and right there that, I mean, you literally can't hit it over his head. But just spins his wheels a little bit trying to get to it right there, and it'll go as a 2-out single for the freshman Dalton Wentz, who has a 3-hit day.
So now Luke Costello, who's walked and struck out twice. By the way, back to Wentz, his 4th career 3-hit game. And Wake Forest was looking for a 3rd baseman in the portal. And Dalton Wentz was committed to South Carolina. South Carolina obviously had a coaching change, and Dalton Wentz became available. And so then they decided on either Wentz or a portal 3rd baseman. They went with Wentz. He's played a lot of second. He's DHing now with a little arm issue. And
it's turned out okay.
Pretty well. Wake staff with a really good relationship with Dalton Wentz's people, and they loved him. And they knew he would play. That was part of the pitch to Dalton Wentz. 2-1, a back pick, not in time from Natilli. Wentz was a big recruit. Top 100 prospect out of high school, according to Perfect Game. Baseball America had him as a top 60 prep prospect for last summer's drafts. He was viewed as one of the 5 or 6 best freshmen coming into the year in the ACC by D1 Baseball. On the ground up the middle, Niehaus flips to Brooks to end the inning. Merrick Houston with another home run, dwindles the Cincinnati lead, but still up 11-6 through 7. Let's check out today's Capital One rewarding performance. Bishop ball backed by some big swings as well for the Bearcats.
Yeah, the freshman got things going. It was Quentin Coates and Derek Pitts. And Donovan Ford with his 4th of the year. The no-doubter to the pull side right there. 3 home runs for Cincinnati. They have taken advantage of 8 walks on the Wake Forest side. Now find themselves just 6 outs away from a Game 1 win in a regional.
Again, first at-large berth since 1974. Carrington Cross told us that when they heard their name called on Monday, it was one of the best moments of his 5-year college career.
Cool. That's why you come back. I mean, just to be able to experience moments like this.
Reese Bowie against Jack Natilli.
I would assume your buddy Kevin Euclid is probably locked in somewhere to this one.
He was pretty excited when we talked earlier this week. 3-time MLB All-Star, one of the greats out of Cincinnati. Along with the likes of Ocha Sandy Koufax. He was a walk-on on the basketball team, and then his basketball coach was also the baseball coach.
Yeah. Sandy, we're gonna try out this pitching thing for you and see how it works.
Story goes that Sandy Koufax heard his hoops coach talking about a baseball trip that was going to start in New Orleans. I'd like to go to New Orleans.
I'll play baseball, sure.
Tries out for the team, 2.81 ERA. We like that. Outside 3-2. There's some really good players out of Cincinnati. Ian Happ, recent years top 10 pick. Josh Harrison. For this Bearcats program, 2nd year in the Big 12 now. On the ground up the middle and past the dive of Merrick Houston. First hit of the ball game for Jack Natilli. His 3rd time aboard and a sac fly as well out of the 3 spot. I mean, this is a program that hadn't won 30 games in back-to-back seasons since 99, 2000, and 01. And then you go to the Big 12, you go to the Power Conference level. Year 2, you get to a regional facing one of the most talented teams out of the ACC. Cincinnati's up by 5 in the 8th inning. This is Quentin Coates, true freshman cleanup man. He went around on appeal to Augustus Griffin. And now some chirping here. We saw it. That was an appeal down to first, and Griffin said he went.
I thought I saw the same thing. I was wondering what the chirping was when they just got the benefit of the check swing.
Fouled away, so it is 0-2. And then dugout chirping on one side is met from another fan base with "throw him out." We're off and running. Tell you what, if we see Cincinnati, Tennessee too, that could get animated at times.
It becomes an interesting matchup because Tennessee is a team that has struggled to control the running game some this year too, and obviously you got to get to first base first. But if Cincinnati does, you would think that if they can hold on here, it'll be the same approach tomorrow night.
And it would match two dugouts that are not known for the volume you would find at a library necessarily. 2-2 on Coates. A walk, a two-run shot, and 2 strikeouts for Coates. Check swing called a strike anyway, and that is out number 1 for Reese Bowie here in the top of the 8th inning.
Now batting left fielder Cal.
So he's trying to give his offense a chance to keep it just down by 5. Deeks would have 7, 8, and 9 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Cincinnati looking to add on with Cal Sefcik. Sefcik transferred in from Indiana. Got about 50 at-bats there last year as a true freshman. Started 9 games. Followed his brother to Cincinnati. Luke Sefcik, who's battled injury this year. Played for Jordan Bischel at Central Michigan. And then Cal Sefcik transfers here to join the Bearcats as well. Pretty cool. On opening day, they hit back-to-back in Cincinnati's lineup. Luke was hitting 6th, playing second base. Cal was in the 7th spot as the DH. He's the 5-hitter in left field today. One. Sefcik on a line to second and a jumping hawk. 2 down.
You can see the eyes of Hawk right there after he brought it in. Immediately looking over to see if they had a chance to double Natili off. Smart move not to throw right there. Natili noticed it early enough, broke to second, but then immediately back to first base. So a hard out, but 2 quick outs after the leadoff single here.
And now Tom Walters coming out, likely to make another move here. Griffin Green has been up in the Wake Forest bullpen. A guy who's been one of their best arms this season. Back end bullpen piece with a 2.65 ERA. As Tom Walter signals to Green. 2 down, 8th inning, Cincinnati by 5. Senior Griffin Green, product of Chelmsford, Massachusetts. Told he's been excellent this year. Spent 4 years at Virginia Tech. He comes on for Wake Forest.
Pretty fastball heavy, fastball in the low 90s for Griffin Green. Slider's the best swing and miss pitch. The whip percentage against righties this year gets that slider above 50%. College averages somewhere in the mid-30s for him. But you talk about it, he's been one of the most reliable guys still, though, and I know we've harped on this a lot, 19 walks in 34 innings, so the walk number is still up there, well over 5 per 9.
And that's been the issue for Wake Forest pitching. You look at their last 3 games they've played in. Regular season finale at Louisville, they walked 9. ACC tournament against Cal, they walked 10, and today they have issued 8 walks as a pitching staff against Cincinnati.
That doesn't work. It's just the math doesn't work there.
It's been a problem with this group really for all of the season. And so now Green comes on, trying to keep his Demon Deacons down by just 5. 2 outs. Jack Natilli's aboard at first, and Derek Pitts, who has driven in 4 in this game, true freshman center fielder bats. Natilli's got the bag so easily to second. There's that slider, 1-1 on Pitts. Two-run single in the first, 2-run shot oppo in the second for Derek Pitts. Lays off, 2-1 from Griffin Green. Griffin Green back to full strength this year after missing last year at Virginia Tech due to Tommy John. Guy who's been a weekend starter in the ACC before. Can get you a lot of ground balls. There's a strike, 2-2. So the 7-8-9 coming for Wake Forest in the bottom of the 8th inning. Two.
Well, East Carolina has knocked out Florida, so that and the North Carolina final 4-0 are the only 2 that have gone final across the country.
We're fighting bad weather in some spots around the country. Pitt strikes out. Nasty slider you mentioned, right on right from Griffin Green, who finishes off a 0, top of the 8th inning. Cincinnati by 5 in the 8th. Top 8 national seeds look like this. The Vandy boys got hot down the stretch. Tim Corbin's team. SEC tournament champs in Hoover. Texas, your number 2. Arkansas, your number 3.
About 38 trips to Omaha for the Longhorns. 75th year of the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. First year it was there. 1950, the Texas Longhorns. Back-to-back national champions for Bib Falk.
How about that? Now Schloss leading the way. Team that spent a lot of time in number 1 this year. Javar Williams leads off against Michael Conti. 5-run game. Is there a favorite this year, or is it just wide open like everyone thinks?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty open. I mean, I think you really got to pay attention to the way Vanderbilt played towards the end of the year. If you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said Arkansas. You've seen North Carolina multiple times this year. They've been incredibly impressive and were today, and should have a loaded bullpen tomorrow. And Knapp went 8 1/3 today for the Tar Heels.
They have one of the best weekend rotations in the country. Jake Knapp, Jason DeCaro, who's on Saturdays after last year he finished the year on Fridays. And Aiden Hauk, who got drafted in the offseason but came back for another year as your Sunday guy. Chopper foul. Texas is interesting. They've battled injuries this year.
They have. They have Max Blue back, which is important for that offense, but lost Jared Spencer, who was their ace, and will not get him back.
Dylan Volantis, SEC Freshman of the Year. 1-2, away. What'd you see from Arkansas down the stretch?
The pitching staff wasn't quite what it was earlier. Zach Root struggled a little bit towards the end of the year. Gage Wood was great right when they got him back, and then scuffled a little bit his last 2 starts.
Williams to center at Derek Pitts, and there's 1 away.
Texas 7-1 on Houston Christian in the 6th. That was a 2-1 game in the 4th. The Horns were 5 in the 5th to pull away.
Kentucky's got an early lead.
They jumped out in front of West Virginia.
It's an interesting regional. You got Clemson, Kentucky, and West Virginia. There's Austin Hawks, singled up the middle as last time. It takes ball 1. One and one on Austin Hawk. We mentioned, unfortunately, dealing with bad weather in a half dozen spots around the country as well. Athens, Auburn, Baton Rouge, Clemson, Hattiesburg, and Tallahassee either had the first pitch delayed or got delayed once the game got going, as was the case in Tallahassee. Regionals in Florida.
Yes.
Got to be ready for that.
Beware. Usually going to get some stoppage in play in the Southeast. LSU hadn't even started. Baton Rouge hadn't started yet, I don't believe.
Just misses 2-2. That's always a scene. I have not yet been to Baton Rouge.
Really?
Yeah.
We got to change that. Your life will never be the same.
That's what it seems like. Just seeing their fans in Omaha. Strike 3 called. Pin to the outside corner by Michael Conti. And there's 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning.
I like this approach on the mound, too, for Conti. I mean, it's just simplistic. Like, just give me the ball, low arm slap. We're going to let it go. He's not trying to do too much. That two-seamer has pretty good movement when he needs it right there. That may have been a change. It came back over. But there's Conti outside part of the plate. 2 quick outs here in the 8th. And was unfazed by the home run. Gave up the home run to Merrick Houston. Since then has set down everybody else. Uh-oh.
And now grab your Spider-Man memes.
Oh, no. We got Conti on Conti action right here. This is... see this every day.
A nation has waited for this in the Knoxville Regional. Michael against Matt. No relation. We're legally obligated to say. Between the Contis. True freshman Matt against the senior right-hander Michael. Matt Conti has started a lot. His first plate appearance in this game. A pinch hit for the starting catcher Jimmy Keenan with Antonio Morales in the 6th. And then Matt Conti took over behind the plate. Highly regarded prospects out of the high school ranks. He lines this one into left center field to base hit. First career NCAA tournament knock for Matt Conti off Michael Conti in a 2-out single in the last of the 8th inning. Well, you start thinking ahead. Cincinnati gets through this, obviously without using Kellen O'Connor. Let's say they hang on and win. He would throw against either Tennessee or Miami tomorrow.
I would think so.
This guy's been really effective for Jordan Bischel's team this year. Matt Scannell, the batter. Kellen O'Connor was honorable mention Big 12. He's a 6th-year senior. He's 5'10", 185 pounds. Transfer from Cal State Bakersfield. He's been really good. They've had him closing games recently, but they would obviously want him to start.
16 appearances, 11 have been starts this year for O'Connor.
He's got a really good changeup that we would see tomorrow. That right there is Brandon Shire, one of their key arms, trying to head fake us. Adam Buchkowski gets up. 2-1 on Scannell. And we're going to give you the bullpen view here because this is what could enter the game. Some frisbees.
Little different look from Buchkowski. And Wake was aware of it. I mean, they had the scouting report early on the side armor because it is a different look.
And if we do see Adam Buchkowski at some point, he's got a Batman mask on as well. He wore a comebacker off the face, but he's good to go. Teammates are calling him Batman.
Broke his nose, so hence the mask if we see him come in. Taylor Sheriff out right now just to settle down, the senior right-hander, a guy that's had great control so far this year. Ran a few two-seamers out of the zone right there. If you're Cincinnati, this is the guy you want to get. Obviously, you don't want to create any more traffic out there, but then you go Houston, Lewis, Winne, Wentz, the guys that could do a ton of offensive damage.
Three and one. Can Wake make things interesting here against Conti? Veteran hitter and Matt Scannell out of the leadoff spot. 3-1 away. And so there's two aboard for Merrick Houston, the superstar shortstop for the Deeks.
Now batting the shortstop, Merrick Houston.
He was the first hitter that Conti faced when he came in a ball game in the 7th inning, and all Houston did is grit him with a solo shot to right center, and it looks like Merrick Houston will face a different arm.
Jordan Bichel probably wanted to avoid going to Adam Buczkowski. Michael Conti did good work over these couple of innings, and at 33 pitches, he gives the baseball to his head coach. And the masked man enters. You don't want to go anywhere. This slider and Buczkowski with that gear coming on next. Merrick Houston is set to be a first-round pick this summer. He's had a great Wake Forest career, and he comes up in a big spot after he did this last time.
Yeah, first pitch, looking fastball, got it, just drives it out to right center field in a spot that was a 4th Wake Forest home run today, but they've all been solo shots. If Houston can do it again, that'll cut this 5-run lead down to 2, but he's going to face a little bit different look. We talked about Adam Buczkowski. This is sidearm, sometimes a little bit lower. A guy that has really gained more confidence from the Cincinnati club as the season has gone on. Different look, hence the strikeouts. 44 strikeouts in 31 2/3 innings, and a slider from that slot that's just different than most will see. You would expect to see it fairly often to Houston right here.
The masked man from Carmel, Indiana, comes on. 2 aboard for Merrick Houston. First one is that sweeping slider. Houston a walk in the first, RBI single to the pull side in the second, and then that oppo shot leading off the 7th. This is struck well, but popped right up by Buczkowski. Induced at Loudon Brooks, who hangs with it to end the inning. Adam Buczkowski gets Merrick Houston and sends us to the 9th. 7th regional in program history for Cincinnati. First time since 2019, and what a job by the Bearcats so far. Ninth inning, they lead by 5 on Wake Forest. And the Bearcat bats coming up against Griffin Green. 7, 8, and 9 starts with Loudon Brooks. Year 2 in the Big 12, year 2 with this coaching staff. And an at-large berth for Cincinnati. Rain coming down again here at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Ball and a strike on Brooks. What do you call these, pop-up showers?
I hope that's what they are.
Well, the Red Hawks, 4-seed Miami, they're headed for cover with an accelerated pace now.
Yeah.
Boys, pick them up, put them down. 2-1. Popped up. And Austin Hawk goes out. Matt Scannell calls him off, makes the catch, 1 away. See some scores filtering through top right of your screen. A weather delay, we told you, in Tallahassee. Miami's got a 3-0 lead in the 3rd on Justin LeBron in Alabama over on ESPN2. Drew Burris, one of the best players in the country in Georgia Tech, getting set for Western Kentucky. Arizona underway here on ESPN Plus as well. And the UCLA regional with the number 15 national seed Bruins and Rock Chalowski. This is Charlie Niehaus.
Chalowski is my national player of the year right now.
Really?
The combination of power, defense, what he's been able to do. I mean, it's 22 home runs. A guy that's played an incredibly solid shortstop position for UCLA all year. And that's, if you look historically, I mean, that's a big home run number anywhere. It's a very big home run number at UCLA.
Just off the edge. Griffin Green thought he had a strikeout.
We've seen some offense on the West Coast. A lot of offense on the West Coast this year. Mason Neville leads the country in home runs at 26 at Oregon.
He's had a fantastic season. One of the best outfielders in the country. Yeah, it's been a really interesting year for the Golden Spikes. Kind of has been the whole way.
Yeah, there's no favorite at all. I think it'll be fairly spread out. It's going to be hard to get it down. Generally, they have 3 finalists. I mean, that piece, you could probably have 10.
We're going to have Liam Doyle going in Game 1 later today, 6 Eastern, weather pending ESPNU.
Oh, don't say weather pending.
Just as a caveat.
Pop-up shower's already done. It's not even raining anymore.
The most ambitious are starting to head back from that cover. Swing and a miss. 2 down, and the second K for Griffin Green. If you haven't watched Liam Doyle before, if you're tuned into this as a Cincinnati or Wake Forest fan, you want to peek ahead at who else is in the regional, what should you know about Liam Doyle?
One of the best fastballs in the country. A kid that transferred into Tennessee from Ole Miss. The questions were, as a starter, will he be able to develop secondary pitches, which he's done a good job of this year, and fill the zone up enough, which he absolutely has. But I mean, it's a fastball up to 98, 99 when it's at his best. It's a left-hander that you would expect to see in the big leagues fairly quickly.
And it is competitiveness, full effort all the time.
Tony Vitello raves about him. I mean, the stuff is obvious. You see how hard he throws, but he is part of a 1-2 punch, him and Marcus Phillips, that will match up with anybody. It's a reason why Tennessee's playing home baseball.
Grabbed a regional and hosting again. Donovan Ford strikes out looking, and back-to-back Ks for Griffin Green. Last licks for Wake, down by 5. Big bats coming up, 3, 4, and 5. Cincinnati is seeking its first NCAA tournament win since 2019, with the Bearcats back in a regional for the first time since then. And they've got a 5-run lead, trying to get the last 3 outs. And Jordan Bischel's group trying to get along to tomorrow in the winner's bracket. In this format, 93% of regional winners win the first game. Cade Lewis leads off 3, 4, and 5. And Adam Buczkowski dots the bottom of the zone.
Well, you could tell the trust factor in Buczkowski right now. He doesn't have a save all year. And now ultimately in there to try to get Cincinnati into the winner's bracket game tomorrow.
And he gets Lewis to pop up. Left side of the diamond, and Carrington Cross hangs with it. 1 away. The true freshman trying to get Cincinnati to the finish line. First 4 out last year. Awesome start to this season, and then battled injuries and dealt with adversity all the way. Jordan Bischel told us we had to be tough, we had to be resilient this year. Jack Winay takes strike 1 from Buczkowski. Cincinnati knew it was likely in as an at-large team on Monday, but still waited toward the end of the selection show to find out. Any nerves quickly dissipated. Bischel ball arrived here in Knoxville, put up 8 runs the first 2 innings. They tried to hold up and did not go around. 2-1.
For Jordan Bishop, 4th time in the postseason, all 3 years at Central Michigan, they won at least one game in a region.
And some pretty loud performances there.
Yes.
Beating really good programs. Line drive left field. Cal Sefcik comes on, and Cincinnati's 1 out away from a win. And Jordan Bishop can sense it in the Bearcats dugout. A guy who on his staff has his old college coach as well. That is the former head coach at D3 St. Norbert, Tom Winsky, who reunited some years ago at a prior stop with Jordan Bishop, and now they get to do this together. Dalton Wentz, the batter. I mean, you talked about the success at Central Michigan. 2019, go to Starkville. Central Michigan beat Miami in its opener. 2021 in South Bend, Indiana, wins over Michigan and UConn. 1-1 on Wentz. Went to a regional in 22 as well, and now back in it.
I mean, the simple fact that they went to 3 straight regionals, because in the midst of that was the COVID year. First year, 2019 at Central Michigan, won 47 games. Went to the postseason that first year.
And again, we said this earlier, Jordan's son, Luke, been giving Dad a hard time. Jordan told us young Luke is saying like 2 times a day what their RPI was down the stretch. They got in, they're here, and they get a pop-up from Wentz. Carrington Cross and Niehaus go out. Cross makes the catch. How fitting. Cincinnati takes down Wake Forest in its first trip back to a regional since 2019.
That's a pretty impressive day. They took advantage of some things that Wake gave them early, but ultimately Cincinnati plays clean baseball. They threw enough strikes. Nathan Taylor was staked to an 8-0 lead, and he hung around and gave him 6 strong innings. So their bullpen didn't have to do quite as much. Conti in the 7th. Buchkowski comes in the 8th, works a perfect 9th. Cincinnati moves on. They will face the winner of Miami of Ohio and Tennessee tomorrow night.
If you haven't heard of Bishop Ball, now you know. The Bearcats move on to tomorrow night, and they do indeed get the winner of the Vols and the Red Hawks. Wake Forest got to come back tomorrow, noon Eastern. And they will likely throw Chris Lavonis in that game. That was the plan going into this one if the Deacs had lost. Cincinnati, mighty impressive. Cashed in early on and put up 8 runs in the first 2 innings.
Cincinnati Bearcats 11 and Wake Forest 6. First pitch for our next game featuring the Miami Red Hawks and Tennessee Volunteers will be at 6. Games will reopen at 5. Thank you for attending and for your support of NCAA Championship. We had a good evening and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
11-6 the final, and the Bearcats get the job done. If you're looking for Tennessee and Miami, that's coming up at 6 Eastern over on ESPNU. For Kyle Peterson, our whole crew, Sean Jackson, Billy Proctor, and the whole gang, Mike Monaco saying so long. Talk to you on ESPNU.